Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Campfire Quest. I know that we're ready to begin our weekend. To be honest, we probably started about 20 minutes ago, and as we sit down around the table to play a little tabletop role-playing games before the rest of you get off work, we thought we would give you a chance to sit with us. Hopefully you're watching on Twitch, and if not, you will be one of these future Fridays. Sitting around the table with us today in our brand new studio. It's a pretty nice studio. In the brand new studio, the fam. Our adventurers, the adventuring crew. Welcome, crew.
Hi.
Hello.
How's everybody?
Doing all right.
Giggly as all belief.
Right. Well, I hope that everybody's comfortable. You've had some time to think about what's been going on.
No.
Because I've completely forgotten where we were. Is this in a prison or something like that?
Not anymore.
That was a while ago.
Maybe a prison in our minds.
A mental prison?
Yeah. The very last thing I had.
On a boat.
Yeah, we started pulling on the chain to the boat,
Oh my
and
god.
then something came out on the other side.
That was
yeah.
really horrifying. Great. That was great.
Yeah.
Yes.
We are going to jump right into this. I don't want to waste a whole lot of time, but fill in those gaps just a little bit. The last hour of your lives, so to
Did we
speak.
start off with tying up the Minotaur?
Yeah.
Or was that the end?
We started
in the water?
fighting it, so it came up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was great. I turned into a giant gross spider. That was
Yes.
disgusting. I
Yeah.
hated
That
it.
was fantastic.
Disgusting.
I had visual aids.
That was
It
that
was
awful. And I
amazing.
You
So not
kept
like
looking at
visual
pictures of spiders
aids,
and
but
showing them,
like
The whole
visual
time.
aid.
Yes.
Got
It
it.
was
There you
pretty
go.
good, though. And then
Had to confirm.
I what was it beforehand? Like we tried stopping him first. Connect 4.
Connect 4.
Connect
Yes.
Oh my god, Connect 4!
Yes.
Lost. I lost
Wait,
Connect
Fantasy
4.
Connect 4.
You did-
Fantasy Connect 4.
you did good.
Oh
Thank
my
you.
god.
That was
It's a
so fun.
fourth
Connected
in a row.
four.
I
Oh,
was
fourth in a row.
Yes.
I was like shaking. I was like, this here,
It's like Operation.
what kind of events does this put into place if I? Oh no.
So good. And while you were playing, Quinn just walked away.
I
So
totally
that was
just
weird.
like.
Yeah, bye. It was great.
I would love to say that Valandril and Monolith had a bro moment when we both, or saved actions and we both shot.
That was pretty good.
It was a bro moment.
That was
Oh
pretty
my
A+.
god, yeah, because you held your action and then you went and did you hold your action?
No,
again?
he held his action too.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
Yeah,
both
yeah.
of them
And
shot
then they
at
went
the same
charging
time.
at you and we both loosed.
Yeah.
Right, okay, and then after that, you went and then I went and then I turned into the spider and then Tiger.
And then
Giant spider.
the
Very-
giant
Yeah, the
spider.
giant
Sorry,
spider.
It was a giant spider.
It was fantastic.
disgusted.
It was amazing.
So big, the like pincers. Okay, no,
Yeah.
we don't have to go through this again.
Yes, we do. It was amazing.
And then after that, we went into the lake thing, the moat lake thing.
Yeeted myself into the lake to avoid the Minotaur.
Oh my gosh, that was so good.
I did
It's
a
like,
swan
see
dive.
ya!
Yeah, beautiful.
Beautiful. And then I belly flopped,
Yeah, 20 swan dive. He did it.
which is now a clip actually on Twitch. So if you want to watch specifically what we're talking about, there's a 3-minute clip up
That's
right
fantastic.
That's so good.
now
That's
of
so
his
funny.
super good role in my horde role.
Oh, wow.
That was
That's
really
just
good.
absolutely fantastic, is what that is.
After that, we found the chain, and the chain led to the boat, and the boat led to us being all in the boat. It was-
And then something is
no.
occurring, and I believe that's the beginning of our quest.
Woo! I was wondering when that would happen. It got here so quick. I guess you're now having to deal with what's happening.
oh no.
So let's just go ahead and paint a little bit of a brief picture, just so we
Before
have
that, so I don't mess with you. I'm gonna list off exactly what he can sense. So
Oh, there's no need.
okay, you got it.
I knew exactly from the get-go. This has all
Sure.
been planned out ahead of time. I'm not making this up as I go.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Just making sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just making it up as I go, so I'm trying to think of what to say next. No, in reality, you guys have done a pretty good job of piling all 4 of yourselves into this rowboat. And I call it a rowboat. It's shaped like a rowboat, but rowing is not how you propel it. It's the chain at the front and the back that you hand over hand pull. And that chain seems to be looped on each shore and then down through the water itself. You'd begun to hand over hand, and I believe it was It was our very own Quinn who was just lazily floating around in the water without a care in the world.
Casually chilling
Yep.
in the water.
And she probably thought it was safe because many of you had been splashing around and none of you had gotten the 1 or the 2 that was required for an attack.
Fantastic.
And you were able to splash around with no problem. But at the very last minute, right as the last little bit of a toe is coming out of the water, there was a mighty snap. And then the water began to boil. And that's what's happening now. All around you, the water is roiling and bubbling. And what you thought were tentacles coming up out of the water turned out to be tentacles coming up out of the water. The size of them
Masterful.
I'm a storyteller. Giant tentacles with giant suction cups on them, probably about as big around as you guys are. Even the size of the everything. It's
I
just
hate you.
flopping around. And it almost seems like, based on the way they're aiming and coming up and over, that there's something like it's coming up towards you. It's at that moment that we roll initiative.
Immediately, I'm all about combat.
Guys,
first
this
thing
is
in the
exactly what I was talking about in the first place.
Well, why didn't you say anything?
I said something the very minute that we saw this lake.
Why didn't you say it louder?
Oh my gosh.
All right.
I don't need this.
Okay. I'm ready.
Okay.
It was at that moment Quinn knew.
20 to 25.
21.
21.
Nice.
Oh yeah, that's right. I have things. I have the plus to it.
You have to plus 2.
Does that
Congratulations.
put you in the 20 to 25?
No, it doesn't.
All
but-
right. 15 to 20.
19.
No, 19.
Combo.
Oh, I think we should mention while this is going on that Quinn and I are sick.
It's all mine.
Oh yeah, so are
Wow.
Please don't.
Oh.
What?
You were just like, please don't. And it was very sad.
10 to 15.
Wow.
Guys!
This is the second time this has happened.
you. You watch your mouth.
Somebody else had a turn during that range. I was just writing it down. Okay. 5 to 10.
Hey!
Hey, what'd you get?
7.
7.
7.
Boy!
Who's got the higher? In this case, we're gonna do. It'll be athletics specifically. Who's got the higher athletics?
I have +6.
Yeah.
Okay, so you'll be going, and you both have the. It was a 7, right?
Yeah.
And
The sound of that marker is distressing, Jason.
yeah, I know. I love it. It's like I'm using Sharpies from now on.
This is your demise.
Yeah. That's exactly what it sounds like. Our demise.
Dear
Oh.
Shannon, please pick up bread.
He's writing down a monster that's gonna kill us. And today, dear diary.
I fattened them with King's Hawaiian rolls. and then feasted upon their flesh.
It's all a trick. He's gonna eat us later.
What do you think? He
That's
wants
the
the fireplace
cauldron
in
the
front.
back. Yeah.
We've had quite a few battles recently that have been in the theater of the mind. I haven't pulled out a map, and this is going to be another one of those, but there's a dimension that we've got to discuss before we jump into this. There's obviously forward, backward, right, and left, but you're in water. You're on the surface of it. So there's also up into the air and down into the water. So now we have all the different directions that we could move.
Oh man.
And I mention
Legacy
that
axis.
I mention that only because we haven't been in this situation before. So when we're talking about our distance and our speed, I believe you guys have a swim speed which equals half of your actual speed, and that includes directions like up and down.
Okay.
Okay. And it'd be really cool if I had a 3-dimensional like block of clear water here that we could move you through or
Totally.
something. Next time,
Gelatin.
we're getting
Like a
there.
gelatin
Yeah, there you
machine.
go. Yeah, like an arrow.
Resin.
And you can put like
Block.
string through it, like you just
Move
floss.
it.
Yeah.
You shove it in there.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you tie
yeah.
some
I'd be
floss around
flossing.
it.
And then you yeah.
I figured it out. We got this.
There you go.
Guys, if you're not going to address what Ozzy just said,
What did you say?
That's only for the 3 of us now.
I don't want to.
Disgusting.
But you could stand up and demonstrate.
I can't.
No.
It's
I've
like-
tried. I hurt myself. I punched my thigh really hard. We were talking about flossing.
Yeah, we made a flossing joke.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been flossing.
Wow.
All right.
Gonna.
I'm an amazing lyricist.
All right.
I should have been a bard.
The very first person to act in this situation, and you guys know that when you have these situations and we're in combat, it doesn't mean you have to fight. It means we're acting in 6-second increments so that nobody misses a turn. Monolith, you seem to be the most ready to go.
Correct.
Shocker.
Plot-wise as well, because I was like, ooh, these waters aren't supposed to happen. Valandril, you should get in. Wrong one. Quinn, you should get in here. All the elves look the same. Hot take. I really don't want to have anything to do with this, so I just start pulling the chain like as hard as I can.
Oh, okay.
I want to like. I don't want to, but I want to roll like a strength check to see if I can do it faster.
No, I'm all about that. I completely understand what you're trying to do.
Do you want to? Is it metagaming if I say, do you want to hold it until I get there too, so we can do it together?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean,
never
because it
mind.
would be
Take
really
it
hard
back.
to say all those things and
Yeah.
articulate that.
Never mind.
Uh,
Retract what I said. Mark it out.
Gotcha. Okay.
but coincidentally, I would like to hold my action.
I just thought of this thing around actually.
Let me make sure that we all know where you are, because you were crossing, I believe it was about 200 strides or yards of water, and you were more than halfway across. I had you at the 75 stride mark. That's still 225 paces or fantasy feet.
Okay.
So there's a good bit of distance, and you're pulling the chain. And if in your 6 seconds, you would be able to move that about 15 feet, because it's a real smooth chain pull. You can double that with a strength roll that beats a certain number.
And will it hurt? I guess if I roll a 1, it'll hurt me.
No, it'll just be a critical fail. They don't always have to cause damage.
Right,
You could get a
like-
blister. I don't know.
Yeah,
But-
it just could mean like instead of getting 15 feet, I don't go any. Like I slip and hit my face.
Right. Boat breaks, cracks open.
Yeah.
Right.
Just fall right into whatever's beneath us.
I
Okay.
imagine a beak.
I'm gonna go that strength check. Not my highest stat. Not my lowest, but
I believe in you. Kind of.
well, if I fail it, it's gonna be you. How did you do that? 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 I literally got the one number I wasn't looking for. I was about to say I have a 1 in 20 chance of getting a 1, so the chances are pretty slim.
Wow.
But they seem really high right now.
Wow.
There were 19 other sides to that
Yeah.
dance. All
I'm
right.
thinking I didn't roll it. I'm thinking I just dropped it.
I think this is your own.
Not even dropping it. I got a better number.
Well, kind of like we pre-discussed, I guess, because we figured this would happen.
Yeah.
Maybe you do develop a little bit of a blister. It's not that you fail or hurt yourself. I mean,
Yeah.
you do fail at progressing faster than you were wanting to go.
Right.
You just don't really make any progress. Maybe the chain got caught on something under the boat that's kind of keeping it from moving. Hard to tell. The boat did not move, and that did complete your 6 seconds.
I feel like I
Alright.
missed the whole thing when I was doing social media stuff.
I got a blister because I rolled a nat 1 on pulling the chain.
Oh!
You check the social media out. You'll be able to see all about it.
I have a
You know, on Twitter.
Yeah.
Campfire Quest.
Campfire Quest, at Campfire Quest.
See what I did there?
Oh, yeah. That's all
10
good.
minutes ago.
So we've got Monolith, who immediately said, I don't want to be here in this water anymore, reaches down, grabs the chain, and just begins to pull no! And while nothing happens, you ought to see the little muscles in his arms just bulging. It's not that you're not strong, it's just you're surrounded by some beefy people. And,
all over 6 foot.
and you get, right. And you're pulling. And everybody's like really just not sure why it's not going, but it doesn't go anywhere.
But
And
does it go taut and stuff?
yeah.
Is that the right word too? Taut?
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
I'm doing great today.
Killing it. We've started our weekend with knowing our words.
Yeah. English?
Keep it going.
Kind of spot on, maybe.
Jen and Tammy, you are the next to decide what to do with your actions.
Okay, so I don't want to waste my thing on perceiving, but I want to see if this thing is. I'm going to. Can I perceive and or investigate to see if this is like enveloping us and stuff?
Sure.
And if there's anything else, like if this is the only thing. or
I
if there's
totally
anything
get it.
else.
You want to use your time to take a look in the water and see what's what. So, just for all of us, and this is it's kind of an unspoken rule, but I want to start leaning into it a little more. You just tell me what you want to do, and I'm going to randomly pick one of those words from the attributes list to tell you what it's going to be.
Alright.
So, I mean,
Because you're
even if
making it up as you go, right?
Yes,
well,
exactly.
also because it's more for the narrative sake that you say, I want to do these actions, and then I interpret which of these things would fit what you're doing best based on the situation.
Yes.
It's more nuanced, and yeah, gives me more control and allows me to mess with you more. So
Yes.
there's a multifaceted set of reasons here. You are going to go ahead and roll, let's say, an investigation.
Wow.
No way.
I tell you what you're actually going to do. It's a nature check and an investigation. You can roll and pick which of those you want to use to determine your...
You get 2 chances.
I either get a -1 with investigation or +1 with nature.
You pick. It's up to you.
I got a 19 with nature.
So I guess you're using nature.
Yeah.
If you roll a 20 on
Well, you know what?
investigation,
I
you
think
also
I
get a
want
19.
to use investigation. Let's make it a 17.
Well, in both cases, you were able to look down and see. And yeah, you look down and it's basically you expected to see something down there with tentacles coming up around you. Shocking. That's not what you
Wow.
see.
Oh?
Nope. You see 3 things that have tentacles that are coming up. You look on one side and you see it's a giant octopus. And I don't know if you remember dealing with one of these when you were trapped out on the ocean or at any of the coastal cities you've been to or in
Yeah.
your travels before this. But there's a regular sized octopus, which is octopus sized. And then there's the giant octopus, which is giant.
I hate this so much.
Is it the squishiness or the way that it grabs and doesn't let go? What do you hate the most about the
All of
octopus?
it.
All of it?
What you don't realize, Jason, is I have an irrational fear of octopi.
What do you think I had you fill out that questionnaire for at the beginning of our game?
Evil.
I don't remember filling that out. What did I say?
Way to ruin the joke, right?
I'm not going to mention it in front of everybody.
Okay.
It seemed kind of personal. I'll just let that be between us.
It was the fear of losing the ones that you love.
Oh,
God.
oh
You gotta out me like that?
Like, not even a joke, though. Ever since I watched Pirates of the Caribbean 2 with the Kraken, I've just never...
Yes.
And they're intelligent creatures, too.
Yes.
They can eat your face.
They are
yeah.
so intelligent. It's entirely possible that squid and octopi are all aliens here on this planet with
I
their
don't-
massive
stop it.
intelligence
Stop
living
it.
under the sea and running their civilization.
I get it. That's why we need to destroy them.
Even in this fantasy world, you're not sure that that's not the case. But,
No.
Jan and Tammy, the thing that you see is a giant octopus on the port side, another giant octopus
Oh,
on...
like there's 3 separate giant octopi?
Yes. On the starboard side, and then at the bow of,
You can still
stern
do
of the boat, you see the
had
third one.
octopus.
The thing about octopi is they're so good at camouflage that the
Rubbery
tentacles are very visible, but their giant head sac seem to be the color of the ground down the bottom of the lake. And so there was a moment where you couldn't quite see what it was, and then you saw the fluctuating head sac and the billowing port water.
Hey, you stop describing this in such detail.
Depends.
And that's all. I shouldn't tell you much more because you only had 6 seconds to look.
Yeah. Okay.
Evil man.
Well, don't worry. You don't know anything about it. You're just sitting there seeing a bunch of tentacles. You don't.
That's
know
enough.
You don't know how that works.
Gonna have nightmares tonight.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna go see Shazam, and all I can think about is this.
Oh no.
Guys, I think we have a bigger problem than what we originally thought. There are 3 monsters, and that's it.
Okay.
All right. Then at the end of your turn, it becomes the turn of somebody that's not in your boat. They are all going to take their turns.
No! 3 at once!
And they take their turns as such. They'll be using a melee weapon attack called Tentacles.
No way! Why can't they just use a sword?
Wouldn't that be worse?
Octopus with a giant sword.
They got
You win, we'll leave.
That's exactly why they're terrifying. They could do that.
I should be using short swords and not daggers. I found out through a friend that they were like, why are you using daggers? You should be using short swords. And I was like, oh,
Yes, actually.
that sucks. I mean, you gotta find me some of those.
All right. So the thing is that these creatures, these beasts,
Yes.
cannot necessarily choose one of you to grab. They have no reason to pick one of you over the other. So to randomize this and make sure that we're not putting thoughts in the octopus's mind,
And they can do that.
Yeah, they can.
They're just so smart.
we're going to use a D6. And I'm going to pick 3 targets based on that. And it's going to be... All right. So everybody roll a D6 and tell me what you got. And I might have to have you roll again if you pair with somebody. First come, first serve.
5.
Uno.
6.
3.
5.
Okay. God, you're fine. The other 3 of you.
Damn right I am.
1, 3, 5 are the 3 digits I have down.
Wow.
Wow!
So they're going
You're
to
so good at
attack.
getting
and
hurt.
right?
Yeah, wow.
Right. Well, they haven't attacked yet. They have only decided, based on their tentacle sensors,
Stop it.
who they're going to try to grab. The first one, and you notice that it's not a single tentacle that goes and tries to get an individual. It's a collection of several.
Oh. Good. He's gotta leave.
I'm sorry. It should have been a horde of rats. We could have done horde of rats.
If I can live with a giant spider, you can live with giant octopi.
No, I can't.
As it happens, Quinn, it's 4 tentacles that come racing towards you at once, and 2 are from one side of the boat and 2 are on the other, and they go like this to try and grab you.
Oh god.
And
Horrid.
they got a 9, a 4 plus 5. Does a 9 hit?
No.
You dodged right out of the way of all 4, and I can picture how awesome that looks
Straight up
because
just like Matrix dodging.
that's really it, because they're like connected. It's not even a bullet by itself. There's stuff going on there.
Just like, oh.
Okay, so the first beast misses, and who rolled the 3 and who rolled the 5?
I got the 5.
Okay, here comes the
You
3.
got a 1.
I got 1.
Oh, I went out of order then. Then I'm going to go in backwards order because that was a 5.
No. What were you?
You
I've got a 3.
You in the
You
middle
got
order.
I don't even know what to do now. Flip a coin.
All I know is I'm safe.
We're going to go in physical order. Jane Tammy, coming after you next. Yep, whatever it is, it's plus 5. 21.
Yeah, that I'd say
Does
fits.
a 21 hit?
Yeah, I suppose.
Okay, there's 2 things that happen here. First, you take the damage, which I'll tell you, just for the fun of it. It's 2d6 plus 3. And then you're going to roll a DC, you're going to roll a, well, let's do one thing at a time and take your damage.
Yeah.
What did I say? Plus what?
Plus 3.
5, 3.
8. 8 points of damage all at one time. Boom. I know. They hit hard. And now we're going to have to do a...
I'm ready to roll.
I guess it...
Roll the dodge.
Okay, you're going to be... So it'll be Dex. We're going to use Dex for this. Roll a Dex save to see if you're grappled or not by the tentacles.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Magic number is 16.
Yes!
Let me just say, though, and this is not for the sake of Valandril, you are completely enveloped by... God, it's so hard. I feel bad now.
No, keep going. Keep going. I'll power through it.
You get slapped with sticky, wet tentacles that suction cup onto your body, and for a moment feel like they're going to pull you into the water, and then one at a time they pop off of your body.
Hey, Jason.
I felt bad already, so I take that wholeheartedly and deserve it. You might even have some little suction cup bruise marks on you where it seemed for just a minute you were gonna be pulled.
This is my
and
fear.
Then you weren't.
This is my fear personified.
Well, here it is.
Welcome to D&D.
Face your fears head on.
Yeah. I hate being an imaginative person.
I love this.
Right. If I wasn't so visual, it wouldn't be so bad.
If I couldn't imagine all their suction cups coming for me in the night.
Shut up, Grant.
All right, last one. We have... Come on, Monolith. 14 plus 5 is 19.
Wow.
So, I mean, clearly my
Without the
fear is
plus
going to be a
5 they
highlight
hit.
flip.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Alright, how much damage am I getting?
Plus 3 to 6. Oh, look how lucky you got.
I got very lucky.
And then you're going to... you had 3 tentacles from the same beast coming after you, and they
Why do you
all
look at
seem
me?
to like rush at you at a single time. You're going to be rolling a dex save as well to see if you can get out
That's
of...
my good one.
Love
Yeah,
God.
this should be good for you.
Grant.
Huh?
Make that a good roll.
I can't make it. That's my.
I'm making a bad roll.
What is wrong with you? How dare you?
Is that reverse psychology?
Oh, maybe. No, she worked. She made it a pretty rough roll. I got a 13. Wait. Yes, 13. Total.
You're grappled. So this time you get, in the same way that Janet Tammy had to deal with the tentacles grabbing on, this time when it's all said and done, you can't even shake free from that. You've got a large one going around your waist, and then a second one that's like a bandolier going up over your shoulder, kind of on your ears and face and down the side of you. And you can't seem to break away from it. And you stay grappled.
I wish that the grappler feat had anything to do with me being able to get out of grappling. It
Yeah.
just has to do with me grappling something. I can't grapple an octopus.
Oh, that attitude.
I'm pretty sure 8 armed wins in a grappling match.
Let's test it out. I'm gonna grapple an octopus, guys.
I don't.
You're gonna grapple an octopus.
What are you gonna grapple? One of its arms?
What do you-
7 more.
I have a
There's
question.
something going
I have a
on.
question. Like, what is your objective with grappling this octopus? Like, are you trying to break one of its limbs? Are you trying to rip it off? Are you
Super
trying
Mario
to like
Sunshine.
what?
Oh, I gotcha.
The squid in Super Mario Sunshine. You butt stomp its tentacles and then you rip them off one by one. That's what she's trying to do, right?
That's
Oh,
fair.
you know it.
You are grappled. All 3 of the giant octopuses have taken their turn.
And only one of them.
2 damage, 1 grapple. Somebody got out of everything, and somebody wasn't even a target during the entire attack. And that
But
takes
he
us-
felt very attacked regardless.
this is not an easy thing to deal with. That being said, it's entirely time for Quinn to take control.
Oh man. Okay. So are we still like how many tentacles are in view right now? Because you said there were 3 of them.
3. Okay, well, this is awkward because I'm not sure if Janet Tammy has communicated what she's
I
learned.
did right as soon
I
as
feel like you said things are worse than we thought.
I said things are worse than we thought. There are 3 monsters.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so
Got
she
it.
did say there were 3. All right.
And then you would have heard that. So you know there's 3 monsters, and while you're seeing several tentacles, it's hard to identify whose are owned by which of the 3 because the head sacks are underwater,
Underwater, right.
and just the tentacles are sticking up. There does seem to be a collection of them all around Monolith, and so the others seem like they're probably from the other 2.
Okay. I'm going to see if I can cut one off.
Okay.
Just pick one that's closest and cut one off.
There's a couple that are close to you. The two that are closest to you are actually seem to be side by side and moving in unison. Yep.
Okay.
There's another one that's a little further away and about 15 degrees off of that. So
Okay.
you can either go for the single or for the double. Both are within your range.
If I go for the 2, can I try and get both of them with one swing?
Sure.
Or is that
No, because they're so close together.
okay? Fair. I'll do it.
Okay. Then roll to attack. And keep in mind how squishy an octopus is. They are very squishy.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah. If I
I meant from like an armor sense, not a gross sense.
This is gonna be really funny if I just like swing at one and it bounces off because they're like rubbery.
Gross.
Yeah.
They're
Without
rubbery
disgusting.
glue.
What is the armor class on a octopus tentacle?
I'll tell you in just a second.
Okay. Good.
And give me
I'm just so,
8,
I want to know. It's gotta be like 3.
dirty 20.
Oh. Very, very good hit. Almost double what you needed. Almost double what you needed. Because these are not only squishy, they're not bouncy, rubbery.
And
Oh, hold on. I'm trying to think of a damage number that would include taking one of these off.
Because everything's pre-planned.
Yeah, it is, totally. And I got it right now. I just had to look at my card that I'd made right over here. Got it.
hey, there you go. So I did 13 damage.
Go! So not only is that creature now 13 points of damage more closer to death's door, it's now a sextopus?
7 is sept.
Sept.
So
Septopus.
Yeah.
she cut off 2.
Two
I cut
came
off
off.
Oh, you got
So
2.
it's a
So it is
sextopus,
a
yes.
sextopus.
Okay.
So this is
Can we be careful how we say that?
Octopus.
Wow.
Sounds like a James Bond movie.
so there's these two.
Well, when you did your swing, and it was a mighty swing, one of them flipped and splashed into the water. And when it hit, it was like a tree falling in the water. It just hit, and then like the water parts and then comes and it sinks. The other one flopped towards you.
Oh no!
Lands across the boat. It's not so big that it messes with anything on the boat itself, but it is stump on one side, almost in the water, draped over the bow, and then tip is on the other side.
Okay.
So this kind of like bisects the boat, and it's just laying there.
Is
Okay.
it doing the lizard thing?
Yeah.
No, it's entirely stationary and is not gross at all.
Liar.
Yeah, it's flopping around. Like tail on a lizard. Yep, exactly.
Yes.
Sorry.
It's okay.
It is what it is.
I got it.
Quint's
I'll
just
endure.
like
It'd be like that.
I understand my
Poking at
suffering's
it.
entertainment right now.
she's poking at the tentacle with her sword. She's like, get it.
I think we need to
Well-
rename this episode Schadenfreude.
All right. Just to double check, that was 13, and that's what
Yes.
gave you the wow.
Yeah.
In this particular fight, if you have damage of 5 or more and you're attacking one of the tentacles, it will separate from the body.
Nice.
If you have more than 10, that's 2 tentacles worth. Valandril,
So, question for you, real fast.
am I a bad person? Yes. I'm a bad
Are any of them about 5 feet apart? Like 2 of them, like close together?
So yeah, almost any tentacle configuration you want is going to be available because it's like this around the boat.
There's a reason I asked, sir.
Okay, I'm ready.
So Valandril very much is having flashbacks right now to the Kraken attack that first started this adventure. But he's seasoned. He's ready this time. Much unlike his player. He sees a little wiggly. He's getting a little freaked out. But one calm breath, he gets an arrow ready and goes to fire it. But gets a second arrow ready as well using a special ability called Horde Breaker.
Yeah, that
Which
works.
allows me to... Yeah, boy.
At first, I thought we were talking about multiple tentacles in the same place, but the beasts themselves, and I have to clarify because of the spell that you cast. The beasts themselves are within 5 feet. So yeah, knock yourself out. You get double shots.
Yeah. So will it count as one roll, or should I just do...
We're gonna roll an attack for each of the 2
Got it.
arrows, And by the way, you're like a level or two away from 4 attacks in a single hit with that. It is
Yeah,
so
boy.
sick. You get
I'm looking forward to this.
boom, boom, boom.
I'm about the Legolas, nondescript elf character in fantasy novel this.
Yes.
All right, so we are running with a 22 on the first
Boom.
and a 15 on the second.
Yeah. Squishy, squishy. And good
then,
end.
for damage, we are working with a 10 on the first. And that was cocked, so... And then we are working with an 11 on the second.
Wow. So that is 2 separate attacks, and both of them that you hit were the 2 that were not already engaged with one of your teammates. The one that is grappling Monolith is not affected by this. The other 2 were the ones that were still trying to grab food or whatever they think you are. And the first shot, as soon as the arrow hits, and were you aiming at the tentacle, or were you shooting down into the water? You
At
did
this
so much
point,
damage, it's
he
your
may
call.
have listened to Jan Tammy, but it hasn't registered yet. He's only looking at the immediate threat, which is what is seen. So it'll be tentacles.
Okay, so you hit one of the tentacles from the first one. You hit it so hard that when the arrow goes through, did you do that thing where you lick the feather to make it spin while it's shooting?
Why not?
because there was an amazing amount of force when it hit. It just popped the tentacle right off, and you see it. It's as if it springs up, not expecting to have been hit like that, or a muscle spasm, and it springs out into the water and lands into the water. You shoot the second one at another tentacle nearby, and the exact same thing happens. In both instances, the tentacles that you hit, and this is not normal. Usually the arrow would just stick in there. In both instances, the tentacle pops off, and there's now a bloody stump flopping around, and not necessarily the
It may be
entire-
smart enough to detach limbs when they become useless. So
Maybe.
just saying,
I'd have to check my card.
lizards can do that. They can detach their tails.
So, oh wait, and that was a 10, and I'm sorry I didn't write it down. 10
11.
and an 11, yeah. Boo and yaw. Monolith!
I guess I'm gonna try to break out of the grapple.
Yep, we'll do that first. And it gives,
Oh crap! I'm so sorry. I didn't pay attention.
Yeah.
I should have shot an arrow.
Nobody paid attention to Monolith.
I pay attention. Look, I pay attention. I just don't care.
Oh, that's fair.
Oh,
Honestly,
yeah.
I prefer that. I would prefer
Let's be
that.
fair. He's been getting all the romance lately, so this is an
have
out of
not.
character attack.
I have not. I just called a Dragonborn attractive, and then you're like, oh,
And then it's shipped for life.
oh god.
OTP.
Okay. How do I roll this? Do I just roll strength check?
oh, we're doing, oh, it was Dex before. Yeah, you're ungrappling, so it is strength. I'm
Okay.
sorry, I'd love to let you use Dex.
Come on, snake. I don't want snake eyes.
Why would you want some
Yeah,
guys?
that's just something I heard people yell.
Opposite of Vegas.
Opposite of Vegas. Oh, that's a 21.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
I would say a 21 almost might not break it originally for strength's sake, because when these things grab on, they don't just grab onto your skin. They also overlap each other and grab on. There's like a hug, a squeezy hug occurring.
Squeezy hug.
So, and I don't know if it was that you felt like the pulling on the chain made you less of a strong person, but whatever it was, this time when you executed strength within yourself, just like a little flex pops the suction cups apart, and you're able to wriggle out and slide off of the tentacles, and you're free. And I would say that you still have an action.
Like a stabby action?
Yeah, you do. We're in a unique situation on this boat.
Stabby?
We're in a very unique situation on this
Alright.
boat, and I would say you do have an action.
And the tentacles that grab me, I'm gonna immediately try to slice them with my daggers.
Okay.
Are they close enough?
Oh yeah, they just kind of fell around you. They're still moving. They just came off.
I'm angry.
This will be 2 attacks, and these will be on the same creature, maybe different parts of it.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huzzah! 17.
Hits.
Hate all of you.
And 14.
Yeah, still hits.
Okay.
11 is the magic number, by the way.
Oh, wow.
And now I need to roll my puny d4
Yeah.
plus 4. And sneak attack.
Yeah.
Which is 2d6, right?
Correct. I'm doing all the damage. Okay, so first attack gets
It is sneak attack.
5. Second attack gets 7. Sneak attack 5. So
Hey! 17.
17.
You're welcome.
Wow.
Thank you. I was not paying attention.
I wasn't either. I was
That
just
didn't
so
go bad.
entranced by the numbers that you were saying out loud. I was like, that sounds right.
I'm so focused. I'm like, don't roll bad.
So it's fun to imagine what that looks like,
Yeah.
especially I imagine that based on your thinking about your weapon choices over the
Yeah.
last couple hours, you're wishing they were long swords.
Yeah.
So you're kind of treating them more like long swords, not so much stabby, but a little slashy. Just
Yeah.
trying it out, see what that kind of fighting would be like. And you're loving it. You've got like this is your thing. You just
Yeah.
feel like you should be slashing and stabbing, and you do it with such zeal and excitement. The
Get 'em,
damage that you
Monolith.
rack up causes all 3 of the tentacles that had flopped down. Flopped. We'll use flopped. Flopped down around you, and then started. Yeah, I didn't want to say flaccid. I didn't want to say.
Trying to steer clear.
Flopped down on the ground and flopped around a little bit and then slithered off into the water. So damaged of the 3, that one lost one of the tentacles popped completely off and it's in the boat with you twitching around.
Okay.
Let's see. -1, +2,
What'd you say?
Nothing.
Nothing. Nothing. He
That was
didn't
for
say
us.
anything.
I think you know what I said.
I don't. I'm very scared. I wanna say that I take the one that's in the boat and try to like be like an Aoyama chef. I'm like, and I just cut it up like, I hate you.
Yeah, that seems like an interaction. We let that happen. That's beautiful.
Yeah, that seems right.
Jen, Tammy, what are you gonna do now? Now that Monolith is practicing his sushi making.
I'm going to do what Monolith did in the first round, and I'm going to grab the chain and pull as physically hard as I can to try and get out of here.
Okay. I'm gonna let you make this your movement as the vessel's movement. So your strength is going to be to see if you can surpass what you'd normally be moving. It's a strength. It's not a strength save. It's a strength check.
What's the... Okay. I did 10?
You very averagely pull the chain, and the vessel makes some progress. Probably about as much progress as it would make if there was just a single person in there pulling at an average speed. So over 6 seconds, you travel about 5 or 10 feet.
Okay.
Considering it's a
Strides.
boat full of
Water
people and
strides.
there's Kraken. That's pretty good, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Pretty good.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
Could have done better. But
Oh, could you have? Because I have a video that shows you doing
no, you don't. Erased.
Oh! What?
There's just a 30-second like in the stream.
We're not partner yet, so.
Oh, dang it.
All right, so Jan and Tammy used up your action, valiant effort to make the pull. You do get that bulgy muscle thing when you're pulling, and it's an impressive thing. Even when you're not pulling at full strength, you still get the effort still seems to be a 20, even if it was only a 10 or whatever. So a good job with looking like you're pulling really hard.
What matters is that Janet Tammy's arms look absolutely amazing.
Yeah, they were ripped.
Oh yeah.
Little Ripley right here.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, it's about now that the water, now a little pinker than it was before, as blood from stumps continues to ooze into the water, and the thrashing mixes it up in such a way that it's suddenly hard to tell which of the beasts you're seeing. I mean, you didn't even know necessarily before which was which, but underneath they seem to be rotating in a way that makes it even harder to tell. And now they're going to take their action. Simultaneously, all 3 of them reach up with their tentacles and grab the side of the boat and pull.
Oh no. I'm gonna have to stab things in the water. I ain't never done that before.
Maybe not. They've got to do a combined strength check. So they're going to roll with advantage on strength.
This is horrifying.
Yes, it actually is
I don't
very
like
much.
it.
At least it's like
Would anybody like to see the one?
Yes, I want to see it.
It's right there.
Yes.
It's perched on the edge of the book right there.
That's a 1. It's like just
Maybe they thought they had all 24 tentacles at their disposal, but they only had like 6 less than that, I guess. And so they reach up, and all of them, very intelligent creatures, seem to be placing their tentacles on the same side of the boat and pulling down. And at one moment, the whole boat tips like this, and water begins to pour in the side. And then they slip, and it rights again and sloshes. And now you've got about 2 inches of water on the bottom of the boat, and along with one tentacle that's flopping around. And the 4 of you looking really upset. But all 3 of them took their turn, and it's failed.
Wow.
Good.
Yes!
Can we
Good.
please get out of here?
We're certainly trying.
Next up, Quinn.
Do I see any more tentacles? Like, are they still like...
They came back.
Okay, they're back.
After
Okay.
the failed pull and the righting of the boat during that time, back up out of the water.
Okay. Is anybody like close to getting grabbed? Is anybody injured? Are there tentacles that are like closer to me?
Closer to her.
No, I would instead picture it as they're all kind of equally close to you. They're all equally close to the side of the boat. And there are 12 right now sticking up, except now it's 11, except now it's 13. So it's, it's roughly that same number, and they're all roughly dancing around the boat.
Okay. There's still the tentacle in the boat, right?
Yes.
Oh, the unspoken episode 0 is about to make a cameo.
I haven't
Easter
seen that.
egg.
That's literally so
I
funny.
haven't seen that, so I don't know what's happening.
Oh no, you
Yeah.
haven't seen it? Okay, alright, well,
Oh my god, that's so funny.
We know what's about to happen.
I pick up the tentacle and I slap the other tentacles with it.
All right.
Yep, saw that coming.
Roll for tentacle attack.
What does that get a plus? What do tentacles get as a plus to attack?
Yeah,
You get a +5 with the tentacle attack.
I
That's
do?
pretty high for a
Thank
tentacle.
you!
I know.
Yes?
I know. I'm not. I'm giving her the same strength as the octopi.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
24?
That completely hits.
Okay, what
Yeah, I
do
don't know.
roll
Let's
with
figure this out.
damage
It should
for
be a
this?
D8.
It's 2d6 plus 3 is what they get with a tentacle attack, but that's when they're using all their tentacles. So for
Okay.
the damage of a single tentacle, you can either pick this one right now that I made up yesterday and put on a card, and it's a 1d6 plus
Why
3.
you gotta shoot me down like that?
No, I just want you to know
Or-
that I thought of everything ahead of time, or I'm at least acting like it.
Okay.
1d6 plus 3, or you can use the same damage that you would roll for your sword. I don't know which is higher, so I'll let you pick.
Probably this sword.
Oh, it's definitely the sword.
Yeah.
I have a 1d8 plus 6.
Okay.
There you go.
That's a deadly tentacle.
That is a deadly tentacle.
And it does slashing damage.
Okay, 9.
Okay. That was, yep.
Is it Hattie? It's Hattie. Hattie.
Hattie, stop moving.
No, keep going.
Cannons.
Keep going.
Okay.
Some dogs and spouses were just walking through the store. I guess we'll have to add the dogs to the social media so everybody can see who they are.
Yes.
Obvious.
10 out of 10.
We'll have to get all the
That's
cats and
gonna
dogs
get us
together.
That's how you
every
get it.
point.
Yep.
That's gonna get us our followers.
So,
Oh, yeah.
yes.
I'd love them to love our game, but if it's the cats and dogs,
It's the cats and dogs.
It's the
always
cats and dogs.
You
Yeah.
can bait him with the cats and dogs.
Who watches for
D&D
us?
is like, oh, it's for cats and dogs. What is this? I guess I gotta watch.
guess I might as well learn this complicated game. All right. That was exciting. Quinn, you had an amazing swing. I would like you to understand that the reason you have so much power with that tentacle is that once it's been cut off, it seems to harden. It seems to start to stiffen, and those tentacles are no longer pliable. They begin to have like a sharp rigidity to them.
Oh man.
And as you swing, it's like swinging with I wouldn't say as hard as a baseball bat, but it's moving towards as rigid as a baseball bat with like raised ridges.
Okay.
And it goes whack, 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 whack. And you hit multiple tentacles, kind of like, yeah, exactly. Wah, 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 wah. And the damage that you did was spread out over several different tentacles, but all of them belong to the same creature. And
Okay.
so all that damage that you did went to a single creature. And did you say 9 or 11?
9.
Yeah, I see it. I see it. Okay. Good whack. Are you going to take any time to wear it?
Yes.
I don't want to put words in your mouth, but if we're not getting gloves out of this, what are we doing?
No, that's exactly what I was gonna do.
All right.
Just Quinn winds back and just and then she takes this tentacle and realizes that there's like it's softer on the inside still. And she just kind of like surveys the group for a quick second and so now she has a tentacle glove.
It's such
Gags.
well, yeah, as you should. Well, you may have done this before with other various creatures. Never have you stuck your arm in another creature to use for a weapon and found such convenient handholds. The tendons that crisscross
Like,
inside.
The roots of the suckers,
It-
like on the inside.
Oh,
There you go.
I see
Yeah,
roots.
I'm just
Yeah.
like grabbing onto
I don't
them.
see
Yeah.
roots.
We're taking an awful long time for frickin'
Some Muppet octopus action.
Yes.
Well,
You make it speak.
I try and like bend my hand. I try and bend my hand to make it talk at them, like to make it move, flop around a little bit.
yeah, that's worthwhile interaction. That doesn't take any time. All right. So we've
Monolith is just like. Anyways,
And while that's happening, and while that moment's going on, I just want you to picture the salt water, or I'm sorry, it's fresh water. The fresh water dripping down because the tentacles above you are going like this, and it's still dripping. And while even all that chaos is going on, you still take a moment to be what?
disgusted.
yeah,
What are you doing?
like there are tentacles attacking us. What? What?
I think we're in the middle of something.
And as Monolith comes to terms with what he's seeing, Valandril, it's your turn.
So he's gonna address the group real fast. If you two pull, I'm just gonna keep them off us. And as he says that, he's gonna get another arrow ready. And since there's 2 above,
Quack quack.
yep, whack whack.
Quack quack.
Okay, so the first one is, let's see, math here is a 23.
Oh, that hits beautifully.
And
It
the
sounds
second
like
one's
you
a nat 1.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the only side effect of this nat 1 is that the arrow is deep in the lake and doesn't come back to you. So it's a lost arrow, which is a little bit
Okay.
of a heartbreak, but it's not the end of the world. You wanted to retrieve it from a corpse, not the bottom of the lake. The first one that hit so beautifully, let's get some damage on that and see exactly what you did.
Yes, Cerritos Auto Square. 8.
Yeah, that's enough to separate tentacle from body. That arrow, with all the force that Valandrel musters behind it, pierces the tentacle and pops it off. It does that little flex in air before it hits far away from the boat and lands in the water and begins its slow little sink to the bottom.
And before it all finishes, that 6 seconds, he just looks at Janet, Tammy, and Monolith and go, pull!
And that'll take it back to Monolith and eventually Janatami.
Who is gonna hold his action on yanking the chain?
Okay, so you got a held action. I imagine the trigger is when somebody else begins to pull the chain.
Correct. I also respond. I'm like, gotcha! And then I grab it.
Janatami, it sounds like it's your turn.
Oh.
Almost.
He doesn't say that. He says, you don't gotta tell me twice, and then he grabs it.
Yeah, that's more Monolith.
There we go.
Yeah. Like Jersey.
It's pretty good, pretty good. Janet Tammy is then going to grab the chain
All right.
and pull it.
All right.
Along with
And
itself.
turn into a critter.
Now we're talking. You grab the chain, and both of you have it. And now you are going to roll a strength check, and you could either each roll, or one of you could roll with advantage, and you can even whisper about who's going to do it.
You have a higher strength. Oh wait, you have a higher strength.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Sorry,
Meta whispering's okay, I guess.
I gave you 2 at once?
Yeah.
Madman.
Neither of them are blinking.
Oopsies. Well, one is significantly higher than the other.
19.
Oh,
Dirty 19.
Dirty 19.
19. So with both of you holding on to the chain, there's a moment where you both pull, and not to describe either of your muscles differently from one another, but both of you strain against the chain, and it's as if it was caught on something, and then all of a sudden you get a pop, and the boat rushes forward, and you begin to hand over hand pull it. And you're not sure, because you haven't had a chance to look around, you're so focused on muscles and the chain, you're not sure what it was, but this is now moving so quickly that when you look behind you, you see tentacles in the water about 15 feet behind where you currently are at the end of your turn.
Boosted this boat.
So you are both still in a position to keep pulling, but we're going to pan the camera away from you and freeze your frame and move on to somebody else. But that's what you accomplished in your combined turn.
Things just got real.
Yeah, they did.
Octopus were like, yes, we got them. What the fuck?
One good ranger.
Yep.
Maybe the chain was wrapped around an octopus, and
Yeah,
so
I'm
like,
thinking
when
the
we pulled it,
Oh,
it
I just went.
I'm
Oh.
thinking the octopus had a suction cup on the boat, probably. Just like, you're not going anywhere. Wait a minute.
I love how sassy it is.
Right? Yeah.
You're not
exactly.
going.
That's exactly what it
Yeah,
is.
tasty snack.
That's how I imagine them.
Wait a minute.
Better with like a
Cutting
French
off my
accent.
tentacle.
I want a diagonasi.
Janasi.
Janasi.
Oh, how dare.
How dare?
Well, it's time for the octopi
Pronunciation was
to take their
gymnastic.
turn. And while you didn't do an observation roll or anything, where even passive perception would be with disadvantage now, because we're all so focused on something that's not the world around us. But I will say that since it's the octopi's turn, as they begin to move towards you, anybody that's paying attention sees that 2/3 of the tentacles come towards you, and you see a couple seem to sink below the water, and you see the water turn a much darker red than it had been before, and you see the tentacles sink beneath the water as if they're coming towards you, but then underwater. And then a moment passes, and your boat is surrounded by tentacles. They use their movement to catch up with you, and now the two that are there at the vessel are going to take an attack.
Cool.
They're going to use, the first one is going to use a tentacle attack, and it's going to be whoever rolls the lucky number 3 first on a d6.
On a D6.
Yep.
Nope.
5.
6.
So wait, why are we wanting a 3? To not get hit?
You don't want the 3, but somebody's going to get the 3.
I'm going to be the last one. I don't want to do this.
I want to be the last one.
Roll at the same time.
Okay.
Ready?
3,
Ready?
Just do it. You might
2,
not.
1. Go!
Did you get a 3? I
Yeah, 3.
My favorite part is that anybody watching was hoping it was you. It doesn't take long for the tentacles that are waving above you to locate you. One of them just pats you on the head and says, "It'll be okay."
You don't need to be afraid of us. We just wanted to see how you guys were doing.
Bye, buddy.
Let him finish the description, damn it!
Oh, sorry.
Oh my. Okay.
Come on.
Yeah, it's you've seen it happen before. You've seen it happen to other people. You've hoped it would never happen to you.
Oh, absolutely.
The 3 tentacles that all seem to locate you as the source of an attack grab on and try to hold on to you and do damage. The first thing they're going to do is try to hurt you
Okay.
with their tentacles.
Sounds about right.
Yes.
An 11 plus a 5 is a 16.
16.
Ooh,
That means it hits.
Yeah.
meet and exceed.
Always in favor of the aggressor.
Darn, the guy that hates tentacles is getting tentacled. What a shame.
Oh no, what a shame.
I hate all of you. I want you to know this now. Parker most of all, but
Yeah.
Aww.
I mean,
What did I do?
Parker had to
What did
suffer
Parker
for being
do?
his
8
own.
points of damage.
8?
8.
What? Just because it's an octopus?
Yes.
The tentacles
Fear of
do
him.
Your
Okay.
fear.
2d6
They
plus
smell
3.
your fear.
Yeah, now I got it. 8.
They add up quick.
Oh, yeah.
Now we're going to see if you are grappled or not. And we have to do that by you doing I'm using dexterity to see if you can avoid the tentacles. If you can
Dexterity?
matrix out of the way.
Got
Yep.
it.
I'm excited.
15.
No.
Mother.
Hey, I know. I know. I was really waiting for you to say the right number, and I was a little shocked when you didn't. The first tentacle that slaps across the side of you grabs
Yeah.
and wraps around and under your armpit. As soon as it's located you, the other two realize where the target is, and they go shooting at you like little rockets and intertwine themselves among your limbs. And for a brief moment, it feels like you're being picked up off the surface of the boat. And it's right about there that their turn ends. They've taken their attacks and they've grappled you. You are grappled.
Are you throwing up yet?
Internally.
Internally barfing. Yeah.
Quinn, you're standing there with your tentacle arm, and you're watching. You're. She's a happy dog. You're standing there with your tentacle arm, and you're watching what's happening to your good buddy Valandril here, and it all seems pretty horrible.
It is.
And it's your turn there.
I'm gonna be like, oh God, the tentacles
I
that
forgot
are
you put it
grappling
on your
him.
arm.
I did.
Why?
It's on my arm, and I'm
With a
going to
handle,
hit them.
like an internal handle.
Oh, why?
It comes down fast, and it's got such height and weight already in there that while your arm is lifting it up with strength, you've also got gravity acting on the downward
Yes!
swing. It comes piling down onto 2 of the 3 tentacles, and let's go ahead and roll for attack on that just to see what kind of damage you do. Or
Enough
make sure
to get me
damage is
out?
done.
Hang on. 21.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. All kinds of hitting.
7 damage.
Okay, with a, and let me make sure that gets. With a mighty whack, you bring the hardening tentacle down on the much squishier, still alive tentacles, and it hits, of the 3 that you want to hit, 2 of them are easy and within range, and you come down on those 2. One of them completely breaks, and the stump, as it separates from the actual tentacle that's still wrapped around him,
Yeah.
begins to spray gore everywhere.
Yes!
It was pretty horrible.
Valandril's just up there. Can we not?
Do you want to get out of there or not?
Yes, but can we not?
So with a fire hose of gore and a flopping around newly separated tentacle, Valandril is still grappled, but the creature that's grappling him now, when you try to escape, it's gonna be easier for you to get away from this particular creature. The difficulty, so to speak, will be less.
That's fantastic.
Are my arms free?
Well, when you're grappled, it's kind of, yes, they're free, and you get to attack with disadvantage when you're grappled.
Can I pull an arrow out and stab it?
Yeah, it's your turn.
Yeah, I want to do that.
Yeah.
Good idea.
I'm angry.
Is that how grappling works?
Yep. When you're grappled, and that's a good point. I have it all here, on this nice handmade DM screen. Let me check out the
Found now at Etsy.
no speed, incapacitated, reach. Fall. Oh no, that's not how it works at all.
Because I thought their action would be to do the ungrapple.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how your attacks work or anything, but like, I'm pretty sure it's you can get ungrappled, and then I think you have 2 attacks.
I only have the one horde breaker. Only counts if I'm nearby, or if something is nearby my target, i.e., melee range or range.
Oh no. So I was mixing two different conditions together. I made my own condition out of
course,
grappled and I guess something else.
that's how it works.
Prone. No? Yeah. But since that's not how the rules work, you can stab the heck out of it. You have full access to use your arms.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna stab the heck out of it.
So
There you
roll
go.
for stabbing the heck out of it.
All right.
For stabbing the
I
heck
have
out
a
of it.
+7 to hex.
So should that still count as? What should I use as my modifier there? Should I use melee? Since it's an arrow,
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. And let me just make sure.
I wanna ensure because I do have a modifier for melees.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah,
Let's use that one.
I should be DM.
Wow.
So 22.
Let's see. That hits.
Yep. And then since two. Oh, whoop. Well, 5.
Damage?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
That's exactly enough to pop the tentacle off.
Yes!
Yes!
So,
Get
I'm not sure.
off me, you ugly, slimy piece of filth! And then it just splatters him with
Yes!
gore.
Kill Bill style? Yeah.
Yes!
It's pretty horrible.
Just
Monolith laughs.
There were
Ew.
three tentacles binding you. One of them got hard tentacle broken off. One of them got arrow stabbed off, and the third one that had you just maybe an inch off the deck can't hold you up any longer. And while the tentacle is still wrapped around you in one place, the strength of it isn't able to hold you up. And we did not even try to get you out. So if you'd like to do a strength check to ungrapple yourself in the last one.
Absolutely.
We should
Right.
have. Yep.
You know how most people look when.
Well,
More than one.
Yes.
That's so funny.
You failed. You remain grappled. If anything, it gets a tighter grip when it's just the one. Oh, I know. and both of the stumps go.
Just aim straight at your face, and you're just like. You know how most people look when they walk into a spider web? That's you.
Monolith laughs really hard.
This is why we
his
wear
voice
safety
is higher
goggles.
pitched than normal too, because that's natural reaction. Get up!
All right. Good job, Valandril. That takes us all the way back to the top of the lineup with.
From heroic to dunce.
Well, you know, it's
That's basically that
So
could be his
roller coaster.
autobiography.
and
My
back
child.
and back.
How
Okay.
far are we from the shore?
You are now about 50 strides away, which is yards, so it's 150 feet or steps. Should I get conversion tables? I'm using strides for yards and steps for feet. We use feet when we're talking about speed.
I thought we were just always talking about feet.
No.
I mean, when
So,
you're
how
walking.
many feet?
Should I just start using it in strides with your feet? You're about 150 feet away.
Okay, so many. Because, like, my speed is 30 feet. Like, in life, that's
Right.
feet.
That'd be 2 turns of dashing for you to almost get to the shore. Be a little short if you were running on land. What you noticed when you were using that boat earlier is that it seemed to go faster than you're used to walking or running when you had it available to move. Monolith.
All right, I'm gonna say to Janet Tammy before I leave. I'm gonna say keep pulling. Only in my voice, like, hey, keep pulling. And then
Well done.
I'm gonna run towards Valandril and try to cut him free.
Cool. Roll for cutting a tentacle.
All right.
Roll for attack.
Got my 2 daggers. That one is a 16.
Hits.
That one is more. Oh crap! I moved it, but it was.
If it was over 11, it hits.
Yeah, it hits.
It hits. Okay.
So I'm cutting at the tentacle.
And
Get him free.
Yep, and you're doing damage with each blow to the same tentacle.
Yeah.
Go ahead and do that damage for us.
That is a 5.
All right, with that very first strike, the tentacle breaks and it flops onto the ground, and the other one begins to spray. And you hit the other one, you earn the attack, so you must be hitting it on the stump side because it's going to cause damage to the creature.
Right. 5 plus 7,
12.
12.
All right, beautiful.
Looks to mom for
Yes.
math answers.
And the sneak attack.
A.
I feel so powerful. 7 more.
Booyah.
Nice.
Which one? Doesn't matter. Same dice.
Well, how would you describe the demise of this particular enemy?
Oh my. I have had a demise of a creature in my head since we fought the dragon, the worms, but I don't think I can use it for this one.
Oh no.
Unfortunate.
Why not?
Because it doesn't have a mouth I can jump into.
Well, not with that.
Are you like trying to drag
Hold on with
it?
that attitude.
But okay. So I cut off the tentacle with that first hit, and it happened pretty quickly. So I was like, I still want to hit it. So I jump in the water, and I just dive straight for its head, and like I stick my daggers into it, and then just and like rip down as hard as I possibly can. And
Are you in the water like?
yeah. And I'm just like, this is nasty, and I'm cutting down, and I make this like these 2 big lines, and then I cut the bottom of it off and tear out the big rectangle.
What's wrong with you?
And so I just got this big rectangle of squid meat.
Octopus.
So it's
Quinn is leaning over the side of the boat, like watching him do this, like whooping and cheering with her tentacle arm, like woohoo, yeah!
so that is how it dies, with the rectangle being cut out of it.
Yes.
While that's going on, you are being you're underwater, so it's not like you're being covered with gore like Valandril was, but you are being, gore is being propelled past you in the water.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, that's so cool.
I would like you to picture these giant, these aren't
Yeah.
small octopi, these are giant octopi, and inside their entire body system is one system that's holding all of the guts and organs and blood, and when you open that up, it comes out in one quick burst, and that's what was happening. You broke them open, and stuff came out, and now you find yourself swimming in like a
soup.
a pool of organs.
Soup of
I
organs.
vomit underwater.
Good, yeah, that makes sense.
I add to the gore. My own insides.
All right, so
I don't
that
like
is
this game anymore.
Oh, this is fantastic. I love it.
Janet Tammy.
Why would you tell me to keep pulling if you're gonna jump in the water?
Oh, I didn't think I was going to jump in the water when I said keep pulling.
His monolith.
Also,
His
that there's a
wild card.
octopus.
Yeah.
Please, why are you doing this? I'm gonna be like, okay, that was stupid. I know that there's the other octopus. There's still tentacles up and stuff, right?
Yeah, you can see 3 tentacles that are up right now, and the movement in the water makes you think that there's that might be the only one next to the boat.
Okay. Oh, that's pretty good. Well, is Monolith? How close is he
I
to
hate you.
the other octopus? Would I know that? Like, is he on like the other side of the boat? Or is he...
Oh, that's a good question. They seem to have been on either side of the boat, and he jumped off on the single side, on the one side, and the tentacles that are still coming up are all on the opposite side of where he jumped in.
Okay. So like, not melee range.
Of him?
Yeah.
No.
You gonna punch me?
Yeah, I'm gonna deck you in the face.
I'm unconscious underwater.
I think I am going to cast a spell called Ice Knife.
Ooh.
A material component of a drop of water.
Probably can secure that.
Yeah.
I don't know where you're gonna get that.
Yeah, no idea.
At the bottom of the boat,
Totally.
not covering you, not around us.
You create a shard of ice and fling it at one creature within range. Make a ranged spell attack against the target. On a hit, the target takes 1d10 piercing damage. Hit or miss,
I
the
bet they
shard
never
then
miss, huh?
explodes.
Bet they never miss, huh?
The shard then explodes, and the target and creatures within 5 feet of it must make a dex saving throw or take 1d6 damage as well. That's if I do second. Well, actually, I do not know.
If you want to
It might
do
be
second
two.
level spell.
It says 2.
Yeah, you're right.
So you're
I thought it
casting
was
at a second level,
No, I'm casting it at first level.
and you still get that 2d6 on the secondary damage.
Nice.
All right.
If they fail their dex.
Right. All right, I like it. That's a fun one. So you grab a drop of water from somewhere,
Yeah.
and then you. What does it look like when you cast that spell? It's gonna happen either
That's
way.
lots of potential.
Yeah. Well, because she can mess with like the elements and stuff. Because she's a druid. So I think what it is she like low-key water bends like some water out of the lake and stuff, maybe from the bottom of the boat, and it like starts coming up as like a stream of water that's kind of spinning and stuff, and it like spins in the air, and it keeps getting kind of bigger and bigger and longer and longer until it like solidifies in like a big like poof and sharpens and stuff.
Yes.
And it's like spiraled because it's been spinning.
Right.
And there's like little like tinier ones next to it and stuff, so it's like a couple.
Like barbs?
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
Nasty.
Love it.
And now I'm gonna throw my dice to see if it hits.
Yep.
Huzzah!
Roll for attack.
Yeah.
The other one goes
I
off.
have this one. I wish. 16.
Oh, hits.
Yay!
16 hits. So the first damage happening.
The one.
1d10 with no extra, so just a d10. Yep. Looks like a UFO.
6. 6
Ooh, good one.
damage.
Okay.
And then he has to make a dex saving throw with 10. 10 dex.
+1. I'll do it out here for fun.
Oh!
Yep, 4.
Yeah! So then 2d6.
Oh, you want? Yeah. Power.
Power!
And someone within 5 feet. Is the other one within 5 feet?
The other one's dead.
No.
4.
Is this the stuff?
How would you like to do this?
Yeah!
I mean, would you like to describe the method in which this creature passes?
Yes, I would.
Moves on
So
to the
I would like it to be that. Hold on. I physically throw my arm down so that the like shard also goes down. I'm not holding it or anything, but like it flies down, and like when it hits the surface of the water, it kind of freezes a little bit.
Yeah.
And there's like just like this moment of silence, and then like all of a sudden, everywhere around like the octopus, shards of ice and ice shards like poke out from the ice and stuff and explode around the boat.
That's
Barely
dope.
missing Monolith. He almost dies.
Yes.
Oh! I'm so mesmerized. I'm like, that was so cool!
Oh, some of it's all red and stuff because the water
Yeah.
in the thing is like bloody. That's sick.
Some of the shards are actually the gore and not the water that froze.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it went into him and then exploded.
Love it.
Where's the other one?
Dead.
No, there's 3 of them.
Yeah, 2 of them are dead.
2 of them are dead?
Yeah.
You killed one.
Yeah.
And she killed the other one.
Yeah, but isn't the other one?
The third one died while we pulled the thing.
Maybe.
Maybe
Did it?
died.
No,
Okay.
it sank.
It sank,
You don't
and
know
there was
if
a
it died
there
or
was
not.
there was a poof
Oh.
of-
Hey, they're all
Yeah.
dead.
Hey, they're all assumedly dead. Maybe.
I know this.
Oh, crap.
Until something changes, we're currently out of combat.
Woo! Oh yeah.
Woo!
Okay.
I would hate to say that the third one died,
Disgusting.
but I will say that you're currently at this moment out of combat.
I'm gonna
Nice.
reach down and pick Monolith up from the back of his shirt and set him down in the boat.
You do. Hardly even a grunt.
I'm like, that was cool. Why haven't you used that before? That was so cool.
That was pretty cool.
I've been a little nervous. I've never used this one before.
Oh, well, good
Quinn-
job. First try. That was
Quinn-
pretty amazing.
Quinn like pats you on the shoulders like, well done, job well done. And she's like patting you with the tentacle.
With your
Anyone got
the
a
other side of
rag?
the boat.
Gross.
Can someone get me like a towel or something? This is
Just
disgusting.
jump in the water.
Quinn
No.
reaches over and just like slides the tentacle
Woo-wee.
Uh-oh. You rolled for friendship and you succeeded.
My child.
No, you're not. No, stop it.
It'd be like it's like the Nickelodeon slime.
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah.
Only not lime green.
Does
And now,
anybody
Mark, whatever his name comes out and gives me a prize.
Yeah.
Is everybody feeling okay? Does anybody need a little healing?
I could use maybe mental healing, but I'm okay for now.
Certainly use just a little bit.
I think mental
I can-
scarring is
I
a little
can- I
out of
can
her
do
skill
that for you.
range.
Is that a cantrip?
It's a spell. Ain't no
Those are
thing.
spells.
Ain't no thing.
Ain't no thing. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna give him some help.
Okay. Oh, sit tight until you take care of that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Can you
We'll
not?
just wait for you all the time.
It says
It's all about you
1d4
helping people.
plus my spellcasting ability modifier. Oh,
Yeah.
I get it. I don't have one. I'm there.
Oh. Gotcha.
It's because I'm stupid.
Oh.
Oh no.
Gotcha.
No.
As a druid, you didn't.
4.
Plus?
0, so 4.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
All right, you got 4 points back out of that. You
Yay.
lost 8, I think, or 9, or 6. 6.
Sorry, I only took 2 points.
You lost 8,
I lost 9.
9.
No, 8.
I lost 8.
And Valandril, you took a pop.
Yeah.
I mean, you weren't just grossed out. Didn't you take real damage?
Yeah, I did. A little bit. Let me go to the tab that says.
You know, you don't. You
I
don't.
took
need-
8 points of damage.
Okay. I also remember that you're a big beefy tank now, and I'm not as worried about you as I used
Right.
to be. You're 20 and change.
Model you got,
Yeah.
I don't even.
Right.
Yeah.
there are muscles that we didn't know existed.
Yep.
Really strangely accurate.
Very odd.
It's
Yeah.
Rainbow Elf.
Yeah.
Well, just revel for a moment in what you've accomplished. You're sitting in the middle of a lake, close to an island that's situated in the middle of this lake. All around you, the white sand of this desert is gleaming in the sun. It's almost blinding. It's the same sand that you see on the island, also gleaming in white. Down in the water that surrounds your boat as you stand there, the gore from the battle that's over. Ice floating to the surface, bits of octopus floating to the surface, bits of octopus floating to the bottom.
It used to be a nice lake, and then we came along.
Yeah.
There's bits all over the place. You even begin to notice small fish that swim up and start feeding on the bits of octopus that are in the water.
Contributing to the ecosystem.
Right, you're just trying to help.
Exactly.
During all of this, the 4 of you that are standing on the boat look around at one another and take in the sight that you've become. You've been together now for days, and it seems like months, but it's only been days that you've been traveling together. And you look around and you see Valandril covered in the gore of his battle, standing there with a look on his face and a lowered brow of somebody that has just not only had enough, but taken care of enough. And next to him, we've got our very own Quinn standing there with a victory tentacle raised in the air. Just that same kind of hard look in her eye as somebody who's fought with other creatures' bodies on her arms before. This is not new to her, and it's not going to be something that isn't repeated in the future. And we've got our very own Janet Hammy standing there, covered in the sweat that comes from the strength of pulling a chain, and also the sweat that comes from pulling the magic energy out of the natural world around you and focusing it like that. Absolutely soaked to the bone is Monolith, completely drenched, clothes, hair, and everything else. He doesn't realize it's there, but there's like a little piece of intestine or something dangling over his shoulder that's still on him from when he got pulled out of the water. And the 4 of you just look at each other and take it all in for a moment. And where do we go from here?
I'm still waiting for that towel.
So,
Squeegee.
go to the
Squeegee
tower. Go to the tower now.
Do you think maybe we could take a rest? Maybe on some land, but maybe
Right.
a short one.
Aren't we a
if
little
anything.
short on time?
I just
Short
need-
rest
I
is
just
4
need an
hours.
hour.
Okay.
Is it 4 hours?
Short rest is 4
As
hours.
long as
Oh, never mind. I don't need that. I lied. Let's do it. I thought it was like 2. Wait, how much time do we have?
We have
Not
very
a
little
lot.
time.
When we started,
we had like
we had
10 hours, and then we did this fight and everything.
we had 11 when we got to the Minotaur. How long has it been since then?
It's
After Catch 4? Or fourth in a row.
Fourth in a row.
Fourth in a row.
Fourth in a row. It was an extended game. It's only been a few more hours. I'd say you've got. I don't think you were at 11. Wasn't there some sleep that ate away at some of that?
No.
Okay.
Got us to 11, I think.
I would say you're easily at 9 full hours. I don't know what the island holds for you because I just make it up as I go. But you've got about 9 hours in which to solve this problem.
Yeah.
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 You're floating in a boat. It's attached to the shore in front of you by a chain, and the shore behind you by a chain.
All right.
Maybe we should just get this over with.
Yeah, I think
I'm
we
like,
should.
hold on a second, guys. And I pull out that Hearthstone that would teleport us if I brought any of the
Yeah,
orb.
yeah.
I'm like, should I just like chuck this? Should I just like chuck this in the water? Because we don't want to go back to him, you know.
Well,
I don't want to go in there with this on me.
I don't see a problem with it.
Do we already have the runes to open the thing that the orb is in, right? We already. That's on the map.
I'm pretty sure.
Your characters know that the runes are there to help identify it.
Okay.
The only thing that you're going to be able to do is to take the case, if you choose to do so, to take it to either Balazar or Arjon, or you could go back to Sebastian. You've got 3 people that all think you're working for them.
Monolith.
Yeah.
Can I see that real fast?
Yeah, I thought that.
Yeet!
Yeah. Good one.
Yeah, there's no reason to roll for that because I already have seen it arcing in a big arc out towards the center of the lake, back towards the direction you came, and at the apogee, it just seems to float there for a minute and then begin its descent down and splash in the water, hardly making like an Olympic diver,
Nice.
much like you had done earlier today.
See, now we don't have to debate over it.
Yeah. All right,
I pull a handkerchief out of my pocket. I'm like,
Finally, some well-deserved respect.
he says, well deserved respect, and I'm like,
give it back.
Here you go. It's all caked and gore.
wringing it out.
It smells like a fishing boat.
Nice.
Gross.
This is just like that book we were talking about. It smells like fish. The stench of death.
Oh, yeah, I gotcha.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
We'll put a link to that down in the discussion.
Yeah, there you go.
No, we won't.
It's a horror book.
We'll just clip this out later.
All right.
Okay, so you guys are in the water in a boat with chains.
Yep.
What are you doing? I mean, you can just chill if you want.
Let's pull to shore. Let's pull to shore and get this over with.
Yeah.
Go.
I'll probably grab the chain and start moving it.
You guys find it to be just so smooth. Who knows what it was in either of the pulleys that was holding it or keeping it from moving, or what creature was
Like it was an octopus.
allowing it to slide forward. But you just glide across the water. You're hardly breaking any more of a sweat or water than you already had on you.
Not that you could tell.
Right. Who could tell?
Right.
You get to about 10 feet from the shore and you stop, and the boat just glides the rest of the way. And when it gets to the shore and it just touches, it seems to go almost as if it's done this a million times before. It seems to ride up onto the shore just enough to stop it. And it sits right there. And as soon as that happens, up, not at the tower, but in the direction of the tower, which seems to be about, if we were just talking strides and feet, about 400 feet away. No, that's not accurate. About 100 feet away from you. Halfway from there, at the 50-foot mark or so, you see something that's a little like the color of rocks, like a pile of rocks, but the rocks are moving just a little bit.
Can we not?
They seem to be moving towards you.
Wait. If it's an elemental, I need to know.
I would have told you.
Okay.
Is it another minotaur?
It's hard to tell at this
boy.
distance.
Is it silver?
It's hard.
Oh, if only you had
It's
that
hard to tell at
spyglass.
this distance.
Can I?
Like,
Yeah, I know, right?
That's a good one.
Oh man. Okay.
It doesn't take long to have those questions answered, though, because the rocks that were hard to tell, with the colors and the shapes that were a little ambiguous, suddenly they take. That'd be cool. Suddenly, you're able to tell exactly what it is, because you had the same effect when the golden minotaur ran up from the lake at you. It's the same thing, but this one seems to be of a darker silvery color.
it's the leaden minotaur.
Oh wow,
What are you talking
brother.
He comes running, charging and behind him a cloud of sand because he's stomping the ground so hard as he runs towards you. And he runs up to about 20 feet away from you and he bellows, "What are you doing in my island?"
I feel like we've been here before.
Yeah, like I'm getting deja vu so hard it's giving me whiplash.
Alright, so Jane and Tammy become a spider now. Let's just get this over with.
Right, I'm just gonna keep walking, like I'm not even gonna look at him, just like, whatever.
Valandril's following right past.
Those are all good plans, and we'll execute those in just a moment. Right now, we're going to take a break, and we're going to go see if we can eat some fried chicken and drink some soda. So while we're getting our weekend going with fried chicken and D&D, you guys stick around at your jobs, and we'll be back to help entertain you and get you to the 5 o'clock work bell. So stick around, and we'll be right back.
Bye.
Whoop, whoop, boop, boop, boop. Welcome back, everybody. We have just finished as much chicken as we could possibly eat in that short amount of time, but we're not done. We're going to keep eating it, just FYI. But we did all that we could in that amount of time. But we decided, you know what, let's just go ahead and finish our snacks and play like regular D&D players. So that's what we decided to do. Last we were together, our heroes had made it to the island that had been their destination since they left the prison in the first place.
Yep.
On the island, in the very center, a giant tower. The bottom half of it, the color of lead. The top half, the shiny color of gold. You'd already dealt with one particular Minotaur.
Yeah.
What?
Lead where it counts, right, Grant?
What?
Wow.
Don't worry about it.
Wow.
Did I miss a thing?
I'm just
What did I do?
disappointed in Ozzy right now. Let's keep going.
Don't worry, we all are.
Yeah.
Okay. As long as it's Ozzy and not me we're disappointed in, that's really all I cared about. With that in mind, how disappointed we are in Ozzy, of course. With that in mind, let's carry on with the fact that you guys have now been, for the second time, accosted by a Minotaur who seems to be covered in a sort of metal. This one seems to be shiny as lead, which isn't often shiny except in the places where it's bendy. I'd like you to picture a sheet of lead which gets a kind of a a gray corrosion on it. And as soon as that cracks and moves, you see the shiny lead underneath, the metal without the corrosion. And it doesn't take long for that lead in air like the air that you're in here to slowly begin to corrode again. That kind of a pattern is something that you see over and over. Even though you're being yelled at by this Minotaur, you can't help but try to figure out this weird skin that it has on it. This particular beast looks as angry as the one that had been fighting with you and challenging you with feats of strength and intelligence and trust and whatnot. You finally made it to the island, and you're now being stopped by what looks to be a twin brother.
I keep walking. I'm not even gonna. It's just whatever. Bye.
Yeah, fair. So that does have you stepping out of the boat onto the island and moving up, and it's towards the tower that you're headed?
Yes.
Okay. Let's put a map on the table then.
Yeah!
Yes!
We should have done this at the break. I just didn't realize that I would take so long eating chicken. So give me just a second. I'll grab this thing.
That just means we have to be entertaining while he figures this out.
Who's entertaining?
Oh
Nobody's
no.
funny anymore.
What is entertaining? Yeah, like.
What is even?
Like-
What is humor anymore?
So welcome to the first episode of Around the Campfire, the new podcast. Unofficial.
Optimistic
D&D podcast.
nihilism. Nihilism?
Nihilism.
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 Nihilism. I
So
don't
like,
know.
let's talk about it. Like for realsies, Valandril has had one of the best character arcs, and I love that it's happened that way. Where he started as the whiny brat, and now he's kind of semi-competent.
Okay.
He's not in his Green Day phase anymore.
He's out of Green Day. He's into.
What, Foo Fighters?
We said
did you
Foo
say it
Fighters.
was?
Yeah,
I said Foo Fighters phase.
Okay, are we out of the Foo Fighters phase yet?
No, I think we'll forever stay in the Foo Fighters phase. There's nothing wrong with Foo Fighters.
Alright, okay.
You can hand it to us, and then we can work on
Yeah,
that.
go around it.
Put
Or
it,
go
put
here.
it here, and then we can just like
So-
slap those cords out the way.
What happens if we...
Nothing. We all die.
We all die. That's exactly what happens.
Oh, yeah, this is...
Okay. Things and stuff have happened.
Cool.
Okay.
Eventually we're going to get a camera for this stuff, but,
Yeah.
you know, we're
Yeah.
not rich. Or we are rich. We just spent so much on this fabulous studio space.
We're rich with love and friendship.
There you go.
What that buy us?
I like the lead base.
I should probably bust out my character.
Oh, good idea. I
I,
have mine. He's
I don't
half
have one.
painted. Oh, that's true.
He's missing his arm!
Didn't you glue it on?
I did!
Oh.
Aww.
Alright, well,
So
Now
sad.
Jill is missing.
it's now canon. He's armless.
wow.
He's armless. He
Quick,
can't
quick
draw a bow
cannon.
anymore.
That's kind of important. your
Yeah, it
arm.
kind of is, though.
Kind of that.
Yeah.
It's probably in my bag. I'll fix it later, but yeah, that's...
I need to paint mine.
Yeah. I still don't have one.
Come on, Quinn.
What?
He's dead. No arm. He's gone, guys.
He's doing his
It's over.
best.
It's over.
He can still shoot a bow.
He's-
He can shoot a crossbow.
He's gonna draw it with it. He's gonna do, you know, the sport where they
has to pull it
shoot
back with the steam.
like with their feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, now
that's
he's
so
gonna do that.
cool.
You
Yeah.
know, archery.
Yeah,
Just,
but like with your feet, foot archery.
yeah.
Farchery.
Paint.
I don't know if you want to call it that.
Stop making me spit all over my computer.
Would you put him by the dock? It's not really a dock. but
Look,
it's kind
I
of
don't
like
have control over your
if everybody else
fluids.
could kind of be over there.
Hand me your minis, or hand them to Parker.
This feels like this should have been done during a 10-minute break that we were late.
That we were totally on for like 15 minutes.
Jason Gillette.
Cough, cough.
I think they will be forgiving of us.
Will
I
they,
think
though?
It'll be okay.
I'm the only one trying to hold the conversation here. The rest of you are like,
Maybe if someone didn't have to microwave their chicken.
Wasn't me. Wasn't me. I
I,
don't know what you're talking about.
you were the one microwaving the chicken.
No, I wasn't. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh,
Eating
Mabel.
chicken right now. Oh, is Mabel here?
Yeah, Mabel wants some chicken.
Mabel is
You asking
very
for chicken,
sad.
Mabel? Because you know you're not supposed to ask.
She's gotten enough.
She's like, but
Is it
But
hard?
Dad.
Is it hard for you to get Reprimanded on stream.
He's like, there's people watching. If you reprimand me, I'll call someone. There's video evidence.
Yeah.
Table.
I'll whine.
Dog Protective
I'll bark.
Services.
Okay, all right, at long last.
Get your steps in for the day.
Whew. After all that, we finally have our beautiful map set up, and none of you can see it. But all of us can see it, and we know exactly what's happening. Who's lacking? We got 1, 2, 3, nobody. 3, 4 adventures.
Wait.
No, we got 3
We're-
adventures
we're-
and
yeah.
a Minotaur.
Oh, unless that's
That's not the
Quinn.
Minotaur.
Is this Quinn?
Here's the Minotaur.
Ah, there's a
Oh,
Minotaur.
cool.
Could you place him? You see the path that runs
Yes.
around the shrubs? Could you
hell
place
beast.
him at the corner,
It's not a hell.
like
No
at
one's
the
ever gonna
bend,
see
like
that.
that way, 15 feet?
I'm so
There, boom,
mad.
that's him.
That no one's
Hey,
gonna
look
see
at
that.
him.
So he ran. He might. Actually, what you can see, Monolith,
Yes.
when you're looking at that mini, is exactly what I described. It is a perfect Minotaur. And how did I get the paint to make that interesting crackle kind of
Yeah,
an
no,
effect?
since they can't see it, they can't
That's
double
interesting,
check.
right? No, probably. I don't think even when we get that other camera, we'll ever have anything as amazing as what we're all looking at right now. My breath has been taken.
Absolutely stunning.
Stunning.
Fantastic.
As you get to this point, you find out that that is indeed a duplicate, not necessarily the color, but the creature, a duplicate of who you dealt with on the other side of the water. And we're not in combat yet. He just asked you a question.
I'm gonna be the spokesperson, and I'm gonna be like, hey, yeah, we talked to your brother. He said it was cool if we come by. So we came over, and the little octopus attacked us.
Yeah,
so,
he said it was totally fine for us to come
Yeah,
up and go into the tower and stuff.
Oh, well, welcome to the island. I had no idea you had permission to be here. It's good to meet you. My name is the Leaden Minotaur.
It is an absolute pleasure to meet you. My name is Janet Tammy Woodspin,
What?
and these are my friends.
my name is Monolith.
Good to meet you all. Good to meet you.
I briefly turn around and like, hey, I'm Quinn. And then I keep
That'll
walking.
He holds out his cloven hoof and shakes with you. Yep.
Tries to do
Yeah.
it the best he can.
He does a little. Would you move him closer? He seems to have been a little closer to be able to shake hands. Maybe while that conversation was
I
happening,
think
he
we
got a
were
little
also
closer.
walking forward.
Yep. At that point, he says, Wait a minute.
Huh?
You fought the octopus? You fought the giant octopi?
Yeah, we killed 2 of them, and the other one kind of just
Disappeared.
went under. So we.
Don't really know what.
That is impressive.
Thank you.
I'm most impressed that my brother forgot to turn off the octopus alarm. Usually when he sends people over, he makes it a safe passage, and yet you still were attacked, so
I think it's just because
this is I feel bad.
Minotaur
we were
error.
having such
It's
a deep
okay.
conversation with him. Like we were becoming best friends over there. I think he might have just forgotten. It's totally okay. We took care of it pretty
My
easily.
apologies. My apologies. I will lead you. Is it to the tower you wish to go? I will lead you to the tower. Oh,
Wow.
I am so sorry.
This
One
is
moment.
too easy.
Let me just double check with my brother.
Well,
Brother,
actually, listen. Before you do that,
He's just I can ask the
no, it's
question,
fine.
and
Just- I
he
think-
needs to know what kind of problems he's caused.
it's okay.
He didn't cause any problems.
I
It was
would like
actually
to-
fun.
I
You
would
know.
like to cast Charm Person.
Get it, Jam.
And I'm just gonna be like, I think it's fine. I don't really think it's that big of a deal. I think you should just let him be. Let him slide on this one. It's totally okay on our part.
We came out generally unscathed.
He has to beat a wisdom saving throw of 10.
Let's see if he does.
Oh, you might.
He really might. I just want to make sure I have the right.
Oh my god.
It'd be unfortunate if I added the wrong numbers.
Talk to his brother. I was about to just like stab whatever it was.
Oh
I would
no.
like cut it and be like, oh, sorry. I slipped."
We did a very comical Scooby-Doo thing right there.
I wonder what his wisdom is.
It's probably like +5. I hate this. I'm so nervous.
Plus 3.
No!
I'll do it here. This is my
No.
phone.
Yeah, let's see it. Let's see how
It's gonna
much
be
he
good.
succeeds.
This was a bad idea.
Oh, he succeeded real hard.
He succeeded.
He exceeded as hard as he possibly could.
Yeah, 19.
Does he? Hold on.
What happens if you don't? If you fail, yeah.
I'm gonna say he probably knows. But
No,
it doesn't say anything about it.
It doesn't really say that if it doesn't succeed, anything happens.
I think we've run into this before in another game, and I think the first issue. Let's just double check a second. If he's a beast and not a person, would you have cast charm person on him in the first place? Would you know?
You tell me. You attempt to charm a humanoid that you can see within range.
That counts.
Okay.
So you officially failed with somebody that does count. Yeah. Because in my interpretation is because when the spell ends, the creature knows that it was charmed by you. I'm going to say at the same time the creature knows that you tried to charm it. And we can correct that later, but for today, that's how it pans out.
That's fantastic.
What? I don't quite understand what... Did you just try to cast a spell upon me?
A spell? I've never used a spell in my life.
That,
So,
like,
why do you keep doing this?
roll for deception.
You're not good at deception.
I'm not.
I mean, it's not bad, but goodness.
She's doing her best.
Oh
okay?
boy.
Yeah.
She's trying so hard.
That's certainly not the worst.
It's definitely not the best. What is it? Deception?
Yeah.
There it goes. 14? Oh no.
Oh my god.
Ooh.
We're gonna have to wrap this guy up too.
Yep. You gonna have to be a giant spider.
I've only got so many spell slots, guys.
I'm gonna use.
Walk me through what you just attempted to do narratively.
Well, he was trying to be like, oh, did you just cast a spell on me? And I'm trying to play stupid.
You rolled so well and he rolled so poorly that he says, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to assume." Do you have a
nothing. I'm getting ready to roll for persuasion for when that happens.
Still works.
Catch.
How dare you? How absolutely dare you?
That was horrifying.
I'm just
Oh,
gonna-
I got
fucking
very
yeah.
scared. I
Yeah,
heard that noise.
it was.
I am so sorry. It seemed to me as if you were trying to cast a spell, but I can tell that I made a mistake and I misjudged your good character.
I'm sorry. I would never do such a thing. To
I feel bad now for having our beasts attack you and now for questioning you. I tell you what. Come with me. I'll work this out with my brother. It's some other time.
Okay.
Let me lead you to the tower.
I really
Sounds
appreciate
good.
that. Thank you so much. You are so friendly and helpful.
I just feel bad. I like to consider myself a hospitable leaden minotaur.
Well, I would say you absolutely are.
Well, let's see if this can make up for it. Come, let's take a look at the treasures in the tower.
When he turns his back, Monolith is like, and he just like stares at Janet and you're like,
Quinn is just walking ahead at this point, like she's gone.
With the tentacle hand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like
That's
kind of
awesome.
dragging it behind her.
So good.
Would you say that you were following or leading? You'd already left when the Minotaur was there, or
I was leading. I was already like I didn't even stop to listen to him. I just walked off.
Okay, that's fair enough. I would say then that you guys are around the bend of bushes and you're about halfway to the tower itself, and the Minotaur reaches inside his cloak and he pulls out a bell on a stick, and he starts to ring the bell as he walks towards it. And up at the top of the tower, you start to see curtains being drawn around the small windows at the top. It appeared that they were open, but the curtains are being drawn so that you can't... I mean, you're not up high enough. It's about 50, 70 feet up in the air. But as you're looking up there, you get the faint impression that the windows are being closed.
okay.
You make it up to the base of the tower, and there's an entry point. It allows you to walk into the tower itself, and you'd have to... The only thing you'd have to do is follow the Minotaur through the door, because he walks right through the door, having opened it, and it's standing open as he walked into this darkened room that you can't see inside of. The darkened room is the base of the tower itself. You'd be following him in if that's what you'd like to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely doing that.
Yeah.
And you step over the...
Can I peek into the threshold, like peek into the room
Sure.
a little bit? Can I see anything?
roll for perception.
I
Without-
do have-
Everyone else was just like, let's go!
Without spelling your drink.
Probably good to...
Or anyone else.
Anyone else filling a drink.
Patty.
Oh,
Hey.
like
Look,
9.
I just wanted to mess with doggos.
9. That's still slightly below average. I would say if you're having a problem, it's being out in the blinding brightness of a desert with bright sun and bright sand reflecting up into your eyes and then peering into a darkness.
Yeah.
That being said, you're able to make out what appears to be a mostly empty room. It looks like you stepped into a warehouse that has a big concrete pad for a floor and nothing else in it. All 4 of the walls are indistinguishable in the dark for you, but you can see an outline of light on the opposite side of the room that looks like the outline of another door.
Okay. So this door that he just opened, can I like prop it open with a rock or something? And
It seems to be standing open, but
it's just gonna
if
stand open. Okay.
I mean it is currently standing open. You can do anything you want to the door,
Okay.
generally.
I'll put a rock under it, try to kind of jam it in so it can't close.
I'm going to say that without much issue, you're able to find what you're looking for. You
Okay.
you wedge that rock in there, and if the door is going to be closed, somebody's either going to have to move that rock or crumble it into dust.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right. I tap it in with my toe, and like once I'm satisfied, I kind of like suspiciously follow them in.
Good call. Because as you walk in, you're enveloped with darkness, and you hear a voice. Right this way, friends. You follow the voice to the center of the room, and when you get there, we're off the map again and into a spiral staircase that you can take down or up. And the Minotaur begins to go down.
Oh, I really want to go up.
Do it when we go
Oh,
down.
everything in me is
We
like...
can split the party, because I want to go up too.
I want to go down. I'm going to follow the dude.
I feel like he'd notice if our party members started popping off.
Well, let's let them go first
I don't
and
know if
drift
that's
to
the
the
right
back
word.
of the party, and he can, okay, lead the way, man.
Yeah.
Like you go, and then you go, and then you go, and then I'm gonna hang back and wait until you're going down the stairs, and then I'm gonna turn around and go upstairs.
Yeah, me too. I'm going upstairs.
I'm gonna make sure that I'm talking to this man real heavily the whole time. So what? Why are you on this island? What are you just protecting things and stuff? This tower? How are you?
Your
What
brother's
is
a
your
really
main
great
line?
guy.
Yeah, I love
Oh my
him.
gosh.
He was
so
the best.
kind.
4th in a row, very good game.
Yeah, that was
He's
so
the best
smart.
at that. He always beats me.
Really good.
So you're following me down these stairs, and it might
Absolutely.
be a little while. It's quite a walk down. I get a little winded sometimes, but I'm okay. Let's do this.
Perception to see where we are.
And he just keeps talking to you and walking down the spiral
Yes.
staircase. I'm not having you 2 roll stealth because he passed out of a range where you would need to be stealthy. You could almost jump around, it seems, because they seem so far away. With that being said, what are you going to do now? You're still in that ground floor, and you're standing on the spiral staircase. You said you wanted to go up.
I look at him and I'm like, oh, he stayed behind too. All right, like
Like, you know, so then we go up.
we make our way quietly.
Well, you do well. You begin to go up without making a whole lot of noise. Again, I'm not going to have you roll because even if you didn't do a good job, it doesn't seem like there's anybody there that's going to hear you.
Okay.
Right.
And I would say that it takes about just 15 steps or so before you make it to the first landing. And I want you to picture a spiral staircase that continues to go up forever. And where these landings occur, there's an opening that allows you to step off onto a floor that goes around this. And the floors, like for instance, the floor on the bottom, the giant rectangular floor that had the spiral staircase in the middle, When you get to the second floor, the tower is much thinner at that point. So the spiral staircase is in the same position, but now there's only about 5 or 10 feet of space all the way around it. And that's what you're seeing now. You see a few boxes stacked up. You don't see anything else, and there's one circular window that you can look out of at that level.
Okay.
Can I?
So we're here.
The one below that.
We're here.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. The one below that.
We're here.
Yeah, you're at the first. You're at the first place where the tower begins to shrink
Okay.
or
Okay.
get smaller.
Did we enter right here?
Yeah, you entered at the ground floor, and the large rectangle at the bottom is the large warehouse that you stepped into. Those of you that are going down with the Minotaur, you're surrounded on all sides by rock, so you're not seeing anything except a spiral staircase that descends. You guys that are going up, you're ascending that same staircase, but it's a circular tube that's got wire and stuff around it. So as you're climbing, you can look out and see the building outside of it. It's not the same for you. You've got stuff to look at as you're climbing. You made it to that first platform, and you're looking out of the first window. This is the one that's about 5 to 10 feet of space all the way around, and also has the small boxes or small stacks of boxes. You can continue to go up.
I kind of want to open one of the boxes.
Yeah, I do too.
Okay.
So.
Tell me how this works, and I'll tell you what you're seeing because you need to choose. Right where you step off of the staircase, the landing, you're now on this deck, you're on this floor. There are 3 piles of boxes, and each one has 4 or 5 piles. There's one close to you, there's one on the opposite side of the room, and then there's one that's close to the second one, but a little further away. I would say, as far as ease, there's one right in front of you that's 5 feet away, one that's a little further that's 10, and one that's 12. So 5, 10, and 12, I'd say, are the distances.
Go to the closest one. I kind of want to like try and lift one up to see how heavy it is.
Okay. The one on top?
Yeah.
Okay. All of them seem to be roughly the same, and they all seem to be crates that are made to transport stuff.
Okay.
And we've encountered this before.
Right.
It's not a beautiful case. It's a case to contain things. And when you lift it, it doesn't feel like it's filled solid with something heavy. Like it's not a box of nails, for instance, which would be heavy.
Right.
It feels like a crate that has something in it, and it doesn't shake. No noise, but something's in there. Little airbags.
Yeah.
Airbags. Can I wedge it open?
Yeah, these don't seem to be nailed shut or strapped shut in a way that would make it hard to get in.
I'll just lift the top off.
It comes right off. It's not even hinged. It's like it sits on like a shoebox
Okay.
almost, and the lid comes right off. On the inside, you see a hay that you've become a little accustomed to on your journey. And on the inside, I guess you're going to... There's no need to roll for this. You're digging around through hay in a box, and
Yeah.
you're able to find in no problem. You find all 4 of the vials that are in there, and all 4 of the vials that are in there have exactly the same markings on them. And you've seen these before.
Is that all?
These are 4 healing potions.
You are so disappointed.
They are
It's
at
so exciting.
They are at the level of greater healing potions.
Oh yes!
So I see her pop that open and pull out a healing potion. So I go to the 10-foot one and I pop its lid off. And did I find the same thing?
You find the same boxes, you find the same everything, and if you follow the same procedure and pick it up, you're kind of impressed with how strong she is, because she made it look like it was easy to pick up. And when you picked it up, you're like, "Ugh." And you put it back down and tried to act like it wasn't a big deal.
Right.
But it had some heft to it, and so then I guess you take the lid off. And when you take the lid off, you don't see any hay. You can look right in and see an object, and it is a entire it's a decorative helmet, and this helmet it seems to be made of silver and gold, or some 2 different metals are
Okay.
put together in this ornamental helmet.
Okay.
And the entire thing is wedged in a way that makes it so there's no kind of packing or anything on it.
Is it like
Okay.
silver with like trimming and stuff? Is it like gold?
I don't know. I think you're talking to a minotaur.
Okay, is the box that I open like okay? So I take all the healing potions out and I stash them in my pack and on my person. Can I go through the boxes beneath that? take the box off and go beneath it and pop the lid off the second one.
Yeah.
What's in there?
Same thing.
Safe. Ooh!
So many potions!
Okay! Okay, I'm gonna...
You're looking at a stack of 4 boxes with 4 vials in each one, and if you go through each, you'll have 16. Half of them are greater healing potions, and the other half are regular healing potions.
Wow.
Wow. 16. That's 4 per
And we're just
person.
busy chatting up a Minotaur.
There's 8 greater healing potions
Yes.
and 8 regular healing
2
potions.
regular and 2 greater per person.
Oh!
If you divide it that way.
Okay.
I pull out the helmet and I set it down off to the side, and then I open the other box. I pop the lid off. I don't even pick it up. I just pop the lid off.
Pops right off. This one is shaped similar. It's a little bit longer, but other than that, it's all completely the same. Popping the lid off reveals the same kind of metal on metal, but this time it's 2 glove bracer combos, like metal. I don't want to call them
Mittens.
with the gems.
Gauntlet.
Gauntlet.
Gauntlet
I
of
said gauntlet.
Infinity Gauntlet. Yeah.
Ah, yeah.
That's what I was trying to avoid.
Okay.
These are gauntlets, but no Infinity Stones on them. A pair of them, and there's the fingers look really cool. They've got a scale almost that allows for bending when you're wearing them.
Full articulation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on the end of each of the last, there are claws that are built into them, so they
Nice.
appear to be gauntlet gloves with claws.
Can I
Nice.
determine that this is like a heavy armor? Like armor class, not light, not...
Yes,
It's heavy armor.
it is,
Okay.
and that comes with some problems and some benefits.
Yeah.
Seems like it'd be really good for climbing.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I want to open up all the rest of the boxes.
It's an entire suit.
Yeah.
It's the whole suit.
I'm gonna go to the...
There are no weapons. It's strictly armor, and one of the boxes contains a lot of fabric that you wear underneath. So it's the kit.
Gambeson and stuff.
It's the whole set.
Nice.
Yep.
I'm gonna go to the far stack of boxes and lift the lid off of the top one.
Okay.
I'm
Very
gonna ask
carefully.
for some potions.
Very freaking carefully, I'm going
gonna-
to lift the lid off of this box.
Okay. Did you do that potion asking before or after what's happening?
As she's like walking to them, I'm like, hey, can I get some of those potions? How many did you find?
I found total 16 of them. So,
Six.
yeah.
Were they all regular? Or?
No, half greater, half regular. We'll get to
Okay,
it.
yeah,
we'll
yeah,
get
yeah.
to it.
Yeah, what's in the next one? That's
What's
all.
in the next one?
I love that you guys are just robbing this man.
Totally robbed and blind. We're gonna hit a boss fight that's so nasty. We're gonna need all of these.
Or we're gonna hit a boss fight and you guys are gonna be upstairs.
Well, we're
You're like,
gonna
"Guys,
we're
look at
gonna
the-
book it down to you.
Or you can just drop it down.
Dump them on the corpses.
You reach the final set of boxes on this particular floor. They don't have any variants in the different crates. They look like the first set that you were taking a look at. And they also have the same construction. It'd be no problem to take the lid off and look inside if you choose to do that.
Yes.
All right, as you lift the lid off and you look inside, you find hay. And you begin to reach around in there and you hear glass tinkling. And it turns... As you pull one of them out, it looks almost exactly like what you'd found in the others, but the liquid inside was a dark red. Oh, this looks like blood. You found vials of blood. There seems to be 6 vials of blood in the case that you're looking at that are all packed into this box.
Happy.
Gonna very carefully lower it back into the box and like cover it back up with hay.
Yeah.
Actually, before I do that, I want to see if there's any identification on it.
Okay.
Are there names written on them? Is there text? Is there?
Let's do an
labels?
investigation.
Okay.
And let me look you up.
I want
out
to do
them
that. I want to do the same
tubes.
thing, because Monolith is like, hey, wait a minute, those vials of blood could be ours. I mean,
Yeah.
Sebastian put them in his coat, but he's all kinds of magic.
15.
Okay. And
They're probably the blood of the other adventurers, honestly.
I just want to make sure.
That's horrifying. I hate
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
if
Oh,
I
absolutely.
was there, I'd smell something suspicious.
I was so excited. I was like, dark red, there's like a double greater.
Yeah, I was like superior. something?
Yeah, supreme healing potion. No, it's blood.
Blood.
What are the languages?
He built
you
you
speak?
up only to
I'm
bring
not
you down.
fighting it
Me?
on. Yeah.
I speak Elvish, Common, and Orcish.
Nice.
I also have seen lots of languages as I have traveled, and I was in the military with several odd characters. So
Well,
I'd probably recognize it, but not be able to read it.
yeah, you know it's Dwarvish. You've seen your husband write in this before.
Oh,
You don't know Dwarvish?
I should.
Should
I feel like
I
never
should.
never took the time to learn it with him.
No.
But you see him writing in it all the time. You have to sign your name on the winter holiday cards under his runes, and so you've certainly seen him before. But what you see is on the vial itself, there's no paper or anything, but each one has a wax stamp on the top, and on the wax there's an image of a crow's head and a etched-in number. The runes that are stamped seem to be part of the stamp, but the scratched-in number seems to be different for each of the vials. The numbers you recognize, they're in a form that is used by common.
Just common,
Yeah.
common numerals.
Right. Hard to tell what the runes mean, but you can tell what you're holding. The wax is black. It's a black wax.
Out of character, does anybody in our party speak Dwarvish?
No.
No.
I speak Gnomish.
Doesn't help us.
I
I love how you throw that in all the time. I speak Gnomish.
I should have.
One of these days.
I'm
Totally
married
good.
to a dwarf.
You are.
I should have. Oh, I'm like you. You hear Quinn over there be like, if only Bryce was here. Okay,
What kind of language is that?
that's Dwarvish. Guess what I'm married to?
A dwarf?
Yes.
Oh. Interesting. What would happen if we broke it?
You probably don't want to know. Do I have like charcoal, like a stub with me and a piece of paper, parchment, vellum, anything?
Would that be part of any of the kits that you've got? That bag you had, you were stripped of just about everything.
Note cards.
I'm gonna reach in and pull out another one. I'm gonna look at it
Okay.
very intently, as if I'm trying to read it, and then I'm
No,
gonna
This is the
no,
wrong
chuck
one.
it
This is the
across
wrong
the room.
folder.
Why would you do that?
I'm chucking one across the room,
Ah!
smashing the vial.
Janet Tammy dies instantly.
Straight up, just
I don't like this.
vaporized.
Well, there's like I just want to see what the consequences are. Like 3 things happen, and I don't know if any of them affect you, and I'm just trying to figure it out.
Oh my gosh! Thank you.
The vial
Uh-huh.
hits the wall. On the inside, the walls seemed to be stone. As you got closer to the outside of the tower from the outside, it seemed like it was covered in sheet metal, plate metal maybe. On the inside, it looks like standard stone. The vial hits the stone, shatters, and the blood that comes out doesn't hit and then drip down the wall. It comes out like an old Jello, or maybe jelly is a better one because it has a stickiness to it.
Do you
And
stand
hits
there
the
watching
wall,
it for a minute and then
and
barf?
I gag. I definitely gag. Like, ooh, that's not what blood's supposed to do.
It begins to do that thing that slime does when you throw it at the wall, and it flops and flops and flops, and it makes it down to the bottom, and it just kind of oozes and stops, and it's resting on the glass and the bits of wax seal that are down there.
Okay.
As far as other things happening around you when you do that, nothing happens, and you don't see anything unusual about the way that the glass broke or the blood. I mean, obviously the coagulated blood
Yeah.
was not expected.
Right.
It didn't seem like it was magical. It just seemed
Gross.
gross. Yeah,
Yeah.
yucky, slimy.
Okay. All right.
Yuck,
Okay.
Huh. See, it wasn't that bad.
I
Now
don't
we
know.
know.
No, that's disgusting.
Oh yeah, no, it's really gross. But I mean, I thought that maybe something magical would happen.
All right, I want to unstack the boxes because there's like 5 of them, right?
There are.
Okay, I'm gonna unstack the boxes, put them out in rows, and pop the lids off of all of them, and see if
I'll help.
all of them have, see if I can tell if this is like the newest one, and if the ones are older. Like look at the numbers in sequence. What was the number on the top of the one that you threw?
Probably 2. Wait, what was the number on the one that you picked up?
What was it?
18.
18.
18.
What was his?
Oh, dang.
Oh, the one that got thrown was an 18. The one that you're holding is a 6.
Okay. I want to pop the lids off the rest of the boxes and look at the numbers on top of the vials and see if some of them look newer than the others.
Okay.
Like, not as gross and coagulated.
As you're doing that, and we're going to come right back to it,
Crap.
but you guys have been unboxing armor and health potions and blood.
Yeah.
And you've been throwing vials of blood at walls. And during that time, I mean, a substantial amount of time has passed. And while that's been going on, the pair of you following the leaden Minotaur have almost got a little bit of a ache in your legs from stepping down and down and down. You had no idea that anything would be this far underneath the island. You assumed that you were going to be going up. About the time, and you have no idea that a blood vial has been smashed against a wall, but about the time a blood vial smashes against the wall, you guys reach the landing, the first opening in this tube that you've been descending in. You finally reach a landing and you look out, and it appears to be an underground cave with stalactites and stalagmites and a flickering light that comes from torches that are put at regular intervals on the wall. The entire thing seems larger than the island itself seemed that you were on just a moment ago. You've gone down inside the belly of the island and into a cavern that, well, must be what the tower is protecting.
Am I able to look around to get a better idea what might be in there, even if it's dark night vision?
Sure. The light's helping you a lot. A lot of your vision you're getting in full color. You're not even having to use your night vision.
Sweet.
Let's see what you perceive, though.
We are looking at a 9.
Yeah, and 9's not terrible. It's just like you're probably winded from that walk, and so while you're catching your breath, you're also looking around and taking in the sights.
Pretty nice home you have here, Minotaur.
Oh, I don't get to live down here. This would be nice and quiet, and my brother would leave me alone finally. Oh, I would love this to be my room.
Well, we could talk to him for you on our way back, maybe work some things out.
I'll talk to him in a minute. I've been thinking of some things I wanted to say to him anyway, but for now,
Afterwards.
a look. Oh, yeah, as soon as you guys have seen what I wanted to show you.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds great.
What are you... Where are your friends?
We're friends.
What friends?
Wow!
Just say that we're waiting.
Do you not have friends? You had people that came on the
Say
boat
we're
with you.
close.
Is your vision
Claustrophobic.
okay?
Valandril's my friend.
Yeah. Maybe you were seeing double. Shut up.
This seems unusual.
Oh, wow.
I'm positive there were 2 more people.
Oh, wow, this is happening.
I'm
I
positive...
mean, she's kind of... Don't get mad at me for this. You know what I mean? She's kind of big. You can maybe... maybe you saw her shadow and you thought it was another person. Maybe you saw my shadow and thought it was another person.
Oh, wow.
How alone are you here usually?
Roll for initiative.
Initiative.
You 3,
Initiative.
and you 2 roll also, but you don't come into play with
Yeah.
your initiative until you come into
Right.
contact with
Yeah.
this.
Why? Why?
I hate you guys.
I hate you. I hate all of you.
Could roll for persuasion like, oh, they're just.
I was just saying
They're
things
just-
else. Remember, he calls the shot.
Yeah.
Claustrophobia, friends. You could have just said, hey, our friends have claustrophobia.
So they're
There are
waiting.
many
Hey.
things that could have been said.
Yep.
There are many things that could have been said,
many
but
things that
you
could
know,
have been
we're
said.
playing our characters, not
Apparently.
yours.
No, apparently.
20 to 25.
What's up, 21?
All right.
Oh wait, I have 21 as well.
Nice.
221.
Okay, in this one, it's always going to go Valandril and then Monolith.
Okay.
Even though you're both 21. 20 to...
You're
no,
actually in combat.
15 to 20.
Hey.
Which one?
We never said we're in
16.
combat yet.
17.
Just initiative.
Just initiative.
Stab.
17, 16...
Remember, I have a giant spider
and
up my sleeve.
Well, she has a giant spider over her sleeve.
Win.
Oh yeah,
That's her.
Transporter for sleep.
right here.
That's funny. I don't like that joke. That's not
Oh, that was a great one.
Tosses a tarantula on you. Oh!
Ah, that's not funny.
Pocket spider.
Yes!
Or you're you're like, I just had a, and then you like shoot a spider out of your mouth. Where were you keeping that?
My second stomach.
Oh no.
I had it surgically installed.
Oh my goodness.
Let's just be impressed with you for a minute because you
Thank
are
you.
at 21, 21, 17, 16. You guys are showing a lot of initiative this round.
Oh yeah.
You
We're
had
Pocket spiders.
you were
Yeah.
you were not feeling like going last.
No.
Never again.
It's at this moment that the leaden minotaur, who suddenly has slowly put things together and realized that this is not how things are supposed to be happening, that he realizes that he not only needs to rush up and find out where the other two are, but he can't leave you two down here. So he begins to move you guys up and say, well, let's get back up the stairs, when Valandril gets to take his first action. That could be going up the stairs, it could be doing whatever you want.
Persuade.
So is he like doing the
Yep.
cartoon ushering?
Yeah, he's backing you up into the spiral tube again.
Hey, whoa. We just got down here. It was a long walk. You're winded. I'm winded. Why don't we take a break? Just breathe. Maybe they just took a break a little ways up the step. They'll be down here in a moment. I promise you that.
That's fine. Let's find them now.
How about no?
Now.
And we stay down here.
So, are you rolling for persuasion? Are you trying
Possibly.
to persuade? I mean, are you trying to stop the Minotaur from going up the steps
Yeah,
and taking
I'm more
you with
trying
him?
to playfully suggest we need to stay down here.
I don't think there's a playfully suggest stat.
More like intimidate.
Oh yeah. Intimidate. That'd be like we're not going up.
Yeah, we're not going up. We're gonna stay down here. We're gonna rest. I'm tired.
I'm tired.
Is your intimidation better than your persuasion?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Let's do intimidation. And I was going to say we were going to pick a different one, but the gore on you is pushing it just over the
Wow,
edge.
that's
Normally, you
horrifying.
will not intimidate
That's
a Minotaur,
horrifying.
and it's not even worth trying. We'll roll. It's good, high DC, but you could do it.
Well, not with that. This was not a nat 1. Let's just get that out of the way. But it was a 2, which makes a 5.
So
Yeah.
you didn't poke your eye out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Nope, sorry, no time. And he continues to push. Well, he's not taking his action, but you have not dissuaded him from the pushing that he'd started.
I tried.
You did?
You did.
Solid attempt.
Yep. Solid. A plus.
Monolith is down upstairs, quite a few steps above all of this happening, and he is standing over and watching in the silence. It's such a quiet room where you are. You guys you would hear birds outside, but there's no bird singing. It's very quiet, and you're in this tiny quiet room, and you're taking lids off of wooden boxes and organizing vials, and you can hear the wood on wood scrape and the glass tinking together. Very slow and laid back. And then, Jam, you're back down at the bottom where it's getting a lot louder. And it's your turn.
How big is the door entrance?
It's a standard door entrance, which here is about 4 feet wide.
And how tall?
8.
Is the Minotaur the same size as his brother?
Yes, exactly.
Here it comes.
Yep.
I mean, I
Pocket spider.
Yes! Yes!
Never mind. Do you?
I'm gonna use Wild Shape as a bonus action and turn into a giant spider.
Could you describe that again? Because I haven't had enough of that yet.
What's the
Yes.
Anamorphic? Is that the
Anamorph.
So basically, it's like you see different like varieties of
Iterations,
Janatami turning
yeah.
into a bigger, nastier spider. So like just like the Minotaur's looking at me straight on, and like orc with weird fangs, orc with 8 legs, giant spider.
Multiple eyes.
Yes.
Eyes just start like.
Yeah, eyes just start
Oh,
like popping out
no.
all over your face. Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna be going anywhere.
Oh my god.
Wait,
Oh,
wait,
it
wait,
can
wait.
speak
wait,
too.
It's like
That's an intimidation check. I don't even know if that needs intimidation.
Yeah, because that's a bonus action for
Oh.
Wild Shape.
Okay.
So I'd love to intimidate a little bit.
Is that the action you're going to take is an intimidation?
Yeah.
All right, roll for intimidation. I mean, I'm already intimidated, but let's see how the
Yes.
Minotaur
I'm
does.
terrified.
hey, I love it.
Dirty 20.
Oh.
Oh wait, it might be
No, it's a dirty 20.
Yeah, I was right. Cool.
It might be that on this island, there are no spiders. It might be that in this area of the desert, spiders aren't a thing that minotaurs have to worry about. It might be that as a child, this minotaur fell into a nest of spiders and has a phobia. It's hard to tell. But whatever it was, he drops to 2 leaden knees, covers both of his hands or both of his eyes with his cloven hooves, and begins to make sobbing sounds.
Janet, Tammy, hold your ground! Hold your ground! Hold your ground! Tammy, hold your ground!
I drop wild shape.
You've used your bonus action.
I'm sorry, I really didn't mean to scare you.
The giant talking spider bellows, "I'm sorry, I didn't try to scare you."
As you're like, we ain't going anywhere. Maybe we are. Maybe we are going somewhere. You want to go get ice cream?
Yeah, do you want I can do some food or something?
I feel so bad for him.
Oh my gosh.
Poor guy.
Tammy,
Oh,
stop
this
it!
is so good.
You're such a mean person. How
This is
dare
so
you?
good.
Tammy, stay in character! Be a spider!
All right. That takes us to Quinn, who's upstairs in the silence and slowly taking the lid off of another bottle, jingling a few bottles around. she's organizing by number, and so far you've got a 1, 2, 3. Then there's a gap, and then an 8,
Oh,
9.
I don't care about
then a
putting them
gap.
all in order. I
I
just
do.
want to find
Monolith is putting them in order.
I just want to find if any of them look slightly lighter colored or less coagulated. Like if they look like there's a range of dates that these have been put up here. And if they all kind of look the same, then I'm not interested anymore and we're going back upstairs.
Okay. Well, let's take a second and do that now, and it'll be an investigation. And when you were lining them up in my mind, you were trying to see if the numbers correlated with an age.
Yeah.
So roll for investigation to see what you see.
Okay. 14, I believe? Yeah, 14.
You see a rainbow of aging blood. Each vial that you've lined up seems to be the lower the number, the darker and more coagulated the substance inside, and the higher the number, the lighter and more viscous and liquidy the substance is.
Great verbiage.
Thank you.
A plus. What's the highest number I see?
24.
Want to smash it?
I grab the vial and I throw it at the wall.
I have my fingers crossed. I'm like, please don't be mine.
Oh my god.
You watch, it's gonna be mine. I'm gonna yeet myself out of existence.
You do exactly.
Exactly that.
What
yes.
Monolith did. It hits the wall.
I don't want to go.
It slides.
I don't feel so good.
Somewhere in the distance,
feeling
Spanky
good.
screams.
I don't want to go. Mr. Stark, please.
It hits the wall and begins to slide down, and eventually the blood works itself down to the floor, much less dramatic than the coagulated blood, and it eventually comes to rest in the shattered glass at the bottom.
Okay, that's it.
Nothing has happened to you guys in the room. Nothing has happened, as far as you know, nothing happened.
Okay.
And I will just freeze frame you right there. It was a nice little quiet setting. It turned into a glass-shattering bloodbath.
Literal bloodbath.
But you guys are now taking a look and trying to discern what all this might mean to you. And that takes us all the way back down to the leaden minotaur whose turn it is. He has had his hooves over his eyes, and he has been making pretty ridiculous sob noises for a creature as big as he is. And you see him take his little cloven hooves and open them up in little cracks, and then close them again, and go, and he begins to scoop backwards. He's not standing up from his prone position, but trying to back up away from you. Do take a moment to picture what he's seeing, because he walked downstairs with a couple of friendly people, And now there's a giant spider that's not only emerging, its abdomen filling the doorway, but the rest of its spindly legs and thorax are sticking out in the main room. And it seems like the next obvious place for this spider to go is to attack the neck. I mean, I don't know what else the poor Minotaur would think. And we don't know his history. We just know that whatever he was about to do, he's not doing it. He's not even holding an action. He's frightened and unable to do anything. And that takes us all the way back to Balindril.
Yeah.
This is an opportunity, so he's gonna take it
Okay.
and go and do another intimidation.
Okay.
Go. Listen, you're gonna take us to the orb. You're gonna like it, or my spider friend here is gonna web you up and slowly drain everything from you.
You're a prick.
Inch by inch, ounce by ounce, you will be nothing but a bloodless minotaur. As my friend here goes,
Wow.
That terrified me. I don't want to be in this party.
I would offer you a round of applause if I was there. That was pretty fantastic.
Even though his turn passed, he seems to have been holding an action. And his action he was holding was to fall onto his side in the fetal position and to begin to moan a little bit more loudly.
Good
So
action to hold.
you have, yeah, I hold the action of moaning in the fetal position. The trigger will be if that man yells at me. So he's had just about enough of all this. He normally doesn't have to deal with intruders. The island, it must be a pretty safe place for him to have issues like this. Or again, it might just be the spider. Monolith?
All the vials are laid out. And we have that set of armor and the potions. She has the potions.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna regret this. I pull out my crossbow and I set it up so that it's aiming like at all the vials. Like they're all lined up and it's aiming at all of them. And I look at Quinn and I'm like, should I do this? And then I pull the trigger.
He doesn't wait for me to answer. No, he doesn't even. He totally doesn't even wait. He's just like, should I? Bang.
I don't want to have you roll, but there is so much volatility in shooting a bolt at a long row of glass vials that I think it's going to have to be a roll.
Yeah.
And this isn't going to be like an attack roll. There's going to be a difficulty. So I'm going to say we're going to use the dexterity that you require to aim as the way that we're going to see if you reach this particular difficulty
Never mind.
class.
Okay, yes.
It's not impossible. It's not even ridiculously hard. It just
Is this a
requires.
saving throw or just a dex check?
This is going to be a check, so you don't.
Less of a modifier.
Yep.
Okay, I'm getting glass shards in my eyes.
Yep.
No, maybe not. Dirty 20.
Oh, yeah, you far surpass the DC, and you
Nice.
manage to pierce every one of the remaining 22 bottles. One broken. There were a total of 24. All 22 shatter. The bolt that pierces them, the vials I didn't describe, but they have a pointy end and more of a bulbous top. And so you have them leaning up in such a way that you're able to aim it. It shoots all the way down through the bulbous part, and all at once, they all just seem to pop like champagne corks.
Yes.
And in various degrees of grossness, they blop out or spill out, depending on which end of the bloody spectrum you've created they are on.
Yes.
As that happens,
Uh-huh.
you cock your head and listen and take in the world around you. Doesn't seem like anything. Nothing happened
Sigh of relief.
within your range of senses.
So probably all of these vials were from dead adventurers.
Yeah. That's
More than likely.
Probably. So then I turned to Quinn and I'm like, let's go, let's keep going. Let's go up.
Yeah. Let's keep going up.
And we go up.
Yeah.
Okay. As you begin to descend the stairs and head to the next level, we have Janet Tammy, who is in spider form, making
Sobbing on the floor.
In the field.
Yeah, in fetal position now on the side.
This is so good.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop wild shape and I'm gonna walk up to the mentor. I didn't mean to scare you. I really didn't mean to make you cry or anything. We were just trying to do this thing. Like, it's really important. We're trying to destroy this orb. I really didn't mean to make you cry or anything. Like, are you okay? And I'm gonna like rub his back and stuff. I'm gonna like pull some bread out of my pack and like a water pack. I really didn't mean to.
Okay.
I stabbed you in the ankle.
Roll for caring.
Overcarrying.
Oh, not bad.
What do I add?
Your modifier, that's for you, would be athletics.
I got
It's a real stretch for you to care about this guy.
Oh
18.
Yeah, you care.
I care a lot.
Yep, you seem to care a great deal. He is. It's not what he does; it's what you do. You very deftly pull out the bread, and your voice has a soothing quality to it that maybe the people with you hadn't heard before. Very soothing, and good job delivering the bread. You successfully cared.
no. Successfully cared. Successful care.
I promise I won't hurt you, and Valandril won't hurt you either. Otherwise, Valandril won't hurt you either.
Well,
Unless you give me reason to.
that completes your
I
turn.
won't let it.
A ghostly hand reaches past 3 floors and whoosh.
A ghostly tentacle.
Yeah.
Quinn is on the stairs. Janet Tammy finished her turn, and Quinn is still going up the stairs. And I'm going to keep Quinn's action and give it back to her in just a second. And instead, we're going to jump down to the Leaden Minotaur. He's down there, and he's just been cared for. The sobbing has stopped. There's sniffling. The cloven hooves will not come away from the face. So he does not know that you've changed form, but he
It's
can.
okay, I'm sorry. I have my hand, like, fingers and stuff on his back. I'm sorry.
Feels like a bunch of tiny spiders.
He says, "Did you say destroy the orb?"
Yeah, we're really just, like, we're trying to make sure it doesn't hurt anybody else. I really didn't mean to scare you. Like, that wasn't my intention at all. Like, I mean, it kind of was, but I didn't mean to scare you like that.
He pulls the hooves back and he's looking and he's now seeing the very, very tall half-orc. And he says, "You can't destroy the orb."
Why do you say that?
Here it comes.
Oh boy.
That completes his action. And Bellandro.
Am I still covered in gore?
Oh yeah.
Good cop, bad cop.
Bad cop, spider cop.
Yes.
Coming soon to twitch.tv. So Valandril will take some gore off, just starts smearing it over his face. What do you mean we can't destroy the orb? And he does it really menacingly.
Really extra.
I am Batman.
It's like, where do you keep your teeth?
Where's Rachel?
We're taking a few liberties with interactions and stuff, which I'm totally okay with. I'm in
Where's the
favor of, because normally you wouldn't get a reaction, but the Lead Minotaur with his hooves, and he saw you apply the gore, but that doesn't make it any less scary. So he's looking at you and the previous spider, and at you, and he says, "Because if you destroy the orb, I will have failed.
Failed?
My job is to protect the orb.
Oh,
That's what I'm here for. If you destroy it, I will have failed. And I have more to fear than giant spiders and bloody half-elves."
The spiders and bloody half-elves won't hurt you.
That's what you think, punk.
What?
I don't want to steal any of your 6 seconds. So is there anything else you would want to accomplish or try to fit in there in the way that this went down?
At this moment, what he's going to do, since he's saying, I have to destroy the orb, he's going to get an arrow ready and hold an action. Just in case.
And what's the trigger for that action?
Trigger for the action is if he attacks, and Valandril will give a warning. It's just like, if you have to stop us, so be it. But just so you know, we've taken down some worms, we've taken down some octopuses. We're feeling pretty good right now.
Octopi.
He wouldn't know that. He's not educated.
Okay, fair.
I also made a mistake.
It's a little bit of a stretch, and I'm totally into it. It's happening no matter what. But your intimidation was your action. So to hold an action,
Okay.
you can't, except all that talking and the gore, all that reeks of interaction to me. And I want that to be your interaction. I want you to be able to hold the action
Got
that
it.
you called for. So I'm down with what you're doing.
Awesome.
I just didn't want any rules lawyers to tell me I was doing it wrong. I know I'm doing it wrong. I'm doing it wrong on purpose.
Thanks
this
for letting
time.
me bend the rules. This is great.
You're welcome.
It's a better narrative. It's better entertainment.
That being said, we're back at the spiral staircase, climbing up into cooler and cooler air, and we've got Monolith, and we also have Quinn. They're walking together. We've kind of held your last move and your move so that now we're going to do them together. You guys have made it up to the next level, and from here you look out, and the area outside of the circular staircase is significantly smaller than the space before. Before, you could have walked side by side, shoulder by shoulder, all the way around. Now you kind of have to go single file. It's more like 4 to 6 feet and not 5 to 10. In that area, as you're looking around to see what's up there, you find a bed. The bed is on the ground itself. It's like a mat that's filled with maybe hay, and that is on a pallet or a series of boards. So you assume bed. And next to that, you see a box. This one looks like furniture and not shipping. It looks like a chest or maybe something you'd take with you on a long a trip, maybe on a ship or something like that.
We are robbing this dude blind. Or whoever is up here, because somebody definitely closed those windows.
A chest? How can... Are we here?
Yes.
Okay, we're here. Dang, we got so much more to go.
Shh.
I mean, we don't have
Just
any.
keep going.
Yeah. So, do we open his chest? Oh, I kind of want to leave his chest. I don't really...
I'm really curious though.
I know, so am I.
If he has any if he has
has any
something to
short
drink,
swords.
if he has whiskey, I'm a little dry over here.
Okay.
So I'm gonna pop the lid on the chest. See if I can.
I'm gonna-
Is it locked?
I'm gonna...
It is. There's a lock on the outside. It's a loose lock, not built into the structure, but one that hangs like a padlock. And there are 2 buckle clamps on both sides. It looks like you need to remove the buckle clamps or just unclamp them and then somehow get the lock off.
I have thieves' tools. I think I can lockpick with those.
I kind of gesture at Monolith. I'm like, I think this requires your expertise, but don't give it anything back after you've broken into it this time.
You're never gonna live that one day. am I?
Nope.
So what do I roll for? Is it sleight of hand?
Dexterity slight. No, there's a.
There's like a
Oh,
thing.
lockpicking was back in 3rd edition.
Yeah.
Okay, like I know. We're gonna do a sleight of hand. Sounds right. I like
Okay.
it.
Good.
I'm almost positive that's right.
Almost positive.
I got a 9, dirty 9.
Oof, that's pretty poor.
Yeah.
Well, it's a lucky thing though, because any lower than that, you would have bent and broken your thieves' tools.
Woo!
As it is, you failed to open it, but you're able to extract not only the bent hook, but the long straight stick. You pull them both out, and they're both still intact.
Good.
This is different than some of those other types of checks you do. You would never interrogate somebody twice, but you could certainly try to open a lock more than once. But for you, since we're in combat, and this was all totally wrong, I'm going to have you, if you try to open it again, it's not going to be right away.
Okay.
I would actually give Quinn an opportunity. She could either try it or offer it to you, and then that would be both of you using your turns.
I kind of heave a sigh. I'm like, really?
And I hand it to her. I'm like, hey, you try. I out of practice, you know?
I crack my knuckles. I roll my shoulders a little bit. I flip the belt, the clasps on either side to undo them, and that leaves the lid probably wiggles a little bit.
does.
If the okay. I wiggle it a little bit. Is this old? Does it look kind of old? Does it look sturdy?
This is a nice piece of furniture. It has got some nice, it's varnished wood. There's a thick sheen to it. It looks like it's been cared for, polished. The bits of metal on it are shiny. The places where there are metal are like the buckles or the clamps that you undid. The corners also have protective corners on there. Those are all polished. The
Okay.
rivets.
All right. So I wiggle the lock a little bit to kind of wiggle the lid, kind of move it around a little bit, and I'm just like. And I hand him the tools back. I'm like, try again, but this time try harder.
Alright, I loosen myself up.
You just stretch. You just
Yeah.
do some pre-thievery yoga here.
Yeah.
I would go to that yoga class. Thieves yoga? Yeah, sign me
Yeah,
up. Sign
yeah,
me
thieves
up.
yoga.
So do I roll again?
Uh-huh, yeah. You're rolling for lock picking.
Oh, much better. 17.
Oh boy, does that lock pop right off? It's like you had the key itself.
There you
And
go.
it pops right open, and the lock comes off. And I'm going to stop you there before you open it the rest of the way and find out down the hill, or down at the bottom, we had the Leaden Minotaur who gets to act next. And he's looking at you through his hooves, and he says, "Please don't shoot me. Please don't shoot me. Please don't be a spider again." And then he pulls out a wire and says, "Brother, help! Help me, I've been attacked!"
He's still wrapped up, isn't he?
He's not, oh yeah, he's, well,
Gold
you left him
Minotaurs,
wrapped
yeah,
up.
we left him wrapped
And
up. It's fine.
He completed his message back up to the top, Balindril. Or you could use, I don't know if you consider that an attack, if you can.
Wait, isn't it my turn?
No, because we were
I thought
doing,
you went right before they.
okay, yeah, I'm sorry, it is. I cut the two of them out for the up the stairs, and then when I came back
I
down,
mean,
I
yes,
missed
that's
you.
totally how it works.
But none of that changes, except you still have your held action
Yeah.
if you choose to take it. It's your real turn if you choose to take it after he decides.
I believe we can stop being mean and start having an actual conversation, Balindril.
Well, that's an interaction. He gets to either shoot or not.
Shoot the thing in his hand.
No, because we.
Why are you protecting this?
No, you can't do anything yet.
Why? Do it!
He's not. That plea was enough. Back into the quiver.
Okay.
Jan Tammy.
I said what I said. Those two
I
things.
said what I said.
What'd you say?
I feel like we can have a conversation instead of being mean, and why are you trying to protect this orb? How does this benefit you, who is your employer?
He says to you that it's his job to protect it, and if he fails at protecting it, he loses more than just a job. He will probably lose his life.
Oh.
Yeah, I figured that's where that was going.
Yeah, me too.
I want to ask him questions, but I'm not in the room.
Yep.
That will take us all the way back to where you guys are. You're standing around a chest that has not yet been opened.
Okay. Flip it open.
You flip open the lid, and standing in the box on a bed of, not standing, seated,
Oh my god, a gnome! You can use your gnomish!
there's a bed of velvet.
Okay.
And in the bed of velvet is a giant case, and on the outside of this case are runes that you recognize because they are the runes that are on the case of the orb that you're looking for. And that's where we're going to stop for today.
Of course it is.
You guys just all, those of you on the East Coast just got out of work, and so since your weekend actually started, we're going to go start ours as well. So, and congratulations to everybody. Have a beautiful weekend. And to those of you seated around the table, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it
That was
was.
really good.
Yeah, that was great.
And we'll do that again next Friday.
All right.
All right, same place, same time.
Same
Bye,
back
everybody.
channel.
Bye.
That's awesome.
Woo!
That's
That was pretty dope.